Today I will share with you some life-changing philosophy. Before we start, make sure to like the video and subscribe. Also, comment where are you watching from and at what time you are watching. Have a nice sleep. Betrayal doesn't come from your enemies. It comes from those you trust most. The friend who suddenly turns cold. The partner who walks away without explanation. The colleague who stabs you in the back when you least expect it. And the worst part? You never saw it coming. Today we're diving deep into the silent but sharp world of betrayal to uncover why those closest to us can sometimes become the sources of our greatest disappointments. But why does this happen? How can someone switch from friend to foe overnight? Is there a way to spot the signs before the damage is done? Drawing on ancient Stoic wisdom and modern psychology, we'll explore the hidden mechanisms of betrayal and how you can guard yourself against it without losing faith in the power of human connection. This is more than just a discussion. It's a journey into understanding one of the most painful aspects of our social life. And I promise, by the end of this video, you'll look at your relationships through a new, more empowered lens. Let's get started. Have you ever felt the sting of betrayal? It's a pain that seems to come from nowhere, yet it cuts deeper than many others. Imagine a friend who has been by your side for years suddenly stops calling without any apparent reason. Or consider a partner who one day turns cold and walks away, leaving only silence and confusion in their wake. These scenarios involve the people we've trusted the most, making the betrayal not just a surprise, but a deep emotional blow. Betrayal is often portrayed as a dramatic turn of events in stories and films, but in real life, it can be much quieter, yet just as devastating. It is not the enemies who pose the greatest threat in this regard, but those closest to us. As Carl Jung, a pioneer in psychology, insightfully observed, the larger the front, the larger the back. This means that our deepest hurts often come from where we least expect, behind the masks of those we believe we know best. This reality echoes the Stoic understanding of life's unpredictability and the importance of internal fortitude. Stoics like Seneca taught that while we cannot control the actions of others, we can control our reactions and thus remain undisturbed by external misfortune. In the context of betrayal, this philosophy helps us not only anticipate the potential for such acts, but also maintain our composure when they occur. Betrayal, in many ways, tests our ability to see and understand human nature clearly. It forces us to question our judgments about others and to reflect on the nature of our relationships. Are we truly seeing others as they are, or as we wish them to be? This questioning is not an invitation to cynicism, but a call to realism, a core tenet of both Western philosophy and Stoic thought. By understanding the psychological underpinnings of betrayal, as discussed by thinkers like Jung, we can better prepare ourselves for the complexities of human relationships. Jung's concept of the shadow, the darker, unacknowledged parts of our personality, suggests that often those who betray us are acting out of unresolved inner conflicts. They may not even fully understand their motives, driven by parts of themselves that even they have not fully come to terms with. As we navigate our relationships, it is wise to remain both vigilant and compassionate, understanding that each person we meet carries an inner world as complex and potentially troubled as our own. This perspective doesn't just protect us from hurt, it enriches our understanding of human behavior, grounding us in a deeper sense of empathy and preparedness. As we explore further, let's delve into how we can detect the signs of betrayal and shield ourselves, not with suspicion, but with wisdom and insight. When we think about why people betray others, it's tempting to view their actions as purely malicious or self-serving. However, if we peel back the layers, we often find a tangle of psychological complexities and unresolved internal conflicts at the heart of their actions. Carl Jung introduced us to the concept of the shadow self, a part of our psyche where we stash away those traits and impulses we deem unacceptable or unpleasant. These hidden aspects don't just vanish. They simmer beneath the surface, influencing behavior in ways the individual may not even fully understand. This inner conflict is not far from the Stoic understanding of the inner turmoil that results from failing to live in accordance with reason and nature. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, often spoke of the inner citadel, a fortress of virtue and reason within each person. When individuals fail to reconcile their internal contradictions and instead allow their shadow selves to steer the ship, the results can be destructive, not just to others, but to their own well-being. Imagine a friend who has always been supportive suddenly starts acting out of envy or insecurity. Although these traits may seem out of character, perhaps this friend sees in you the achievements or qualities they secretly desire but feel incapable of realizing. Their betrayal, then, might not be a direct assault on you, but a misguided expression of their own unmet aspirations and frustrations. Jung might say that they are projecting their shadow onto you because it's easier to confront these qualities in someone else than in themselves. From a Stoic viewpoint, this scenario presents an opportunity for us not only to guard ourselves against the pain of betrayal, but also to cultivate understanding and compassion. The Stoics teach us to look within and prepare our own souls for whatever life throws our way, including the often painful missteps of our closest allies. By fostering a strong inner life, we become less vulnerable to the actions of others, not because we erect walls, but because we understand the frailties that lead people to make such choices. By integrating Jung's psychological insights with Stoic wisdom, we gain a more nuanced appreciation for the complexities of human behavior. This blend of understanding helps us navigate our relationships more effectively, recognizing the signs of internal conflict and responding to them not with bitterness, but with empathy and strength. Betrayal often unfolds in a series of subtle shifts and changes, not as a sudden break. It's like watching the slow-motion bloom of a storm on the horizon, barely noticeable at first, but unmistakably there upon closer observation. Recognizing these signs is critical, yet it requires a keen sense of awareness, a trait deeply valued in both psychology and Stoic philosophy. Understanding the process of betrayal involves observing behaviors that might initially seem innocuous, but gradually form a pattern that indicates deeper issues. Carl Jung's concept of the shadow self is particularly useful here. He proposed that aspects of ourselves that we deny or suppress do not simply disappear. They find other ways to express themselves, often in destructive ways. When someone begins to feel threatened by their own repressed desires or unresolved issues, their behavior towards others may change, subtle at first, then increasingly overt. Stoicism, with its focus on self-control and awareness, teaches us to maintain a vigilant watch over not only our emotions, but those of others as well. For example, a friend might start with small, seemingly harmless jabs or jokes at your expense, which could escalate over time if driven by jealousy or insecurity. Seneca advised us to be as observant of the temperament and actions of our associates as we are of their character. He suggested that such vigilance helps us to discern genuine friends from those who may harbor hidden resentment or ill will. These early warning signs can be varied and complex. Perhaps someone who once shared freely suddenly becomes secretive or withdrawn. Or maybe you notice a change in their tone when they speak to you. Less warmth, more formality, as if they're slowly building a wall between you. These behavioral cues are crucial. They often precede more overt acts of betrayal and are the psyche's way of signaling unresolved inner conflicts. From a Stoic perspective, recognizing these signs isn't about becoming paranoid or overly defensive. Rather, it's about preparing ourselves to respond with equanimity and wisdom. Marcus Aurelius wrote about the importance of being attuned to the nature of our associates, understanding that each person acts according to their character. By anticipating potential betrayals before they manifest, we can protect ourselves from their worst impacts without harboring anger or resentment. The process of detecting betrayal is fundamentally about enhancing our understanding of human nature and our capacity for insight. It's about developing an empathetic yet cautious approach to relationships, where we balance trust with the wisdom of experience. As we delve deeper into the practical ways to mitigate and handle betrayal, remember that our goal is not to build barriers against others, but to fortify our internal resilience, allowing us to face whatever challenges may come with strength and dignity. It's natural to wonder why acts of betrayal seem to cut deeper than other kinds of injuries or disappointments we face in life. The sting of betrayal is profoundly painful because it strikes at the very foundation of our trust and expectations in relationships. These are not just any relationships, but ones where we've invested significant emotional energy, making the impact of betrayal deeply personal and often devastating. This emotional investment is key to understanding why betrayal hurts so much. When we connect with someone, whether it's a friend, a partner, or a colleague, we're not just spending time with them, we're also sharing parts of ourselves, our thoughts, our feelings, our hopes. Carl Jung might say that in doing so, we project parts of our own psyche onto these relationships, seeing in them not just another person, but a reflection of ourselves and our ideals. When these relationships then turn sour, it feels like a part of ourselves has been rejected or attacked. Stoicism offers a perspective on emotional investment that can be quite enlightening. Here, Stoics such as Epictetus taught that while it's important to form relationships and connect with others, we must always remember that our emotional well-being should not depend entirely on others. They emphasize the concept of some things being within our control and others not. And clearly, the actions and feelings of others fall into the latter category. By mentally preparing ourselves for the possibility that even the most trusted individuals might one day betray us, we can protect our inner peace. As she sat watching the world go by, something caught her eye. It wasn't so much its color or shape, but the way it was moving. She squinted to see if she could better understand what it was, and where however, recognizing the Stoic advice doesn't mean we become emotionally distant or cynical. Rather, it's about cultivating a kind of emotional resilience that allows us to care deeply for others while still maintaining a part of ourselves that is anchored firmly within our own rational and moral framework. This balance is what enables us to experience deep connections without being undone by them if they turn negative. Understanding the role of emotional investment in our reactions to betrayal also helps us navigate these painful experiences with more grace and wisdom. It reminds us that our pain is valid and reflects our capacity for deep connection, not a personal weakness. In this way, we can begin to heal by reassessing our emotional boundaries and expectations, possibly even emerging from the experience with a stronger sense of self and a clearer understanding of what we truly value in our relationship. As we move forward, we'll explore practical steps to not only foresee potential betrayals, but also to handle them when they occur, using both psychological insights and Stoic principles to guide us toward healthier, more resilient ways of relating to others. This journey is not just about avoiding pain, but about growing from our experiences, transforming potential bitterness into a deeper wisdom about human nature and our own emotional landscapes. Navigating the turbulent waters of human relationships requires a vigilant eye and a prepared heart. Knowing how to foresee and mitigate betrayal isn't just about safeguarding ourselves from harm. It's about cultivating a deeper understanding and resilience that enriches our interactions with others while protecting our inner peace. Let's explore some practical steps to recognize early signs of betrayal and effectively shield ourselves from its more damaging effects. First and foremost, awareness is crucial. This means being attentive to subtle changes in people's behaviors and attitudes toward us. Carl Jung's insights into the shadow self are invaluable here. They teach us that what people do not consciously address within themselves often manifests in their actions, sometimes as betrayal. For example, if someone typically shares openly but starts becoming secretive or withdrawn, this could be a sign of internal conflict or a change in their feelings toward you. From a Stoic perspective, Marcus Aurelius advised vigilance in our social interactions, suggesting that we should not only listen to what people say, but also watch what they do. Stoicism teaches the importance of discerning the nature of our associations and adjusting our expectations accordingly. This means that if we notice inconsistencies between someone's words and actions, or a pattern of behavior that suggests hidden motives, it might be time to reassess the trust we place in them. Another step involves setting and maintaining boundaries. This is where Stoic principles can be particularly empowering. Stoics like Epictetus emphasize the importance of focusing on what we can control, which includes our boundaries. By clearly defining what is acceptable and what is not in our interactions, we make it harder for others to disrupt our peace of mind. Boundaries also serve as a test. They can provoke reactions that reveal someone's true intentions, allowing us to see who respects our limits and who chafes against them. Communication is also key. Often, potential betrayals can be headed off through open and honest dialogue. If you sense that something is amiss, addressing it directly can not only clarify misunderstandings, but also signal to others that you are attentive and aware of the dynamics at play. This doesn't mean confronting every odd behavior, but rather choosing your battles wisely and speaking up when something truly significant appears to be brewing. Lastly, cultivating a network of support and fostering a variety of relationships can provide a safety net. Diversifying our emotional investments can help mitigate the impact of any single relationship going awry. The Stoics encourage us to cherish and nurture relationships, but also to maintain a part of ourselves that remains steadfast and undisturbed by external changes. This balance allows us to enjoy deep connections without being overly reliant on them for our happiness and self-worth. By integrating these practices into our lives, we not only better protect ourselves from betrayal, but also deepen our engagement with those around us in a more mindful and meaningful way. It's about being proactive, not reactive, shaping our relational world with intentionality and insight. As we continue to grow and learn, we find that our capacity to handle life's challenges, including betrayal, becomes one of our greatest strengths. As we wrap up our exploration of betrayal and the shadows it casts, it's important to remember that understanding the why and how of betrayal doesn't just help us avoid future pain, it empowers us. This empowerment comes from a deeper comprehension of human nature and our own strengths, allowing us to navigate our relationships with greater wisdom and resilience. Empowerment through understanding means recognizing that betrayal, as painful as it is, offers valuable lessons about trust, human behavior, and our own emotional responses. It prompts a reflection on our values and expectations, and in the process, sharpens our judgment. When we look at betrayal through the lens of psychology, as Carl Jung might encourage us, we see it not just as a personal attack, but as a complex interplay of individual psychologies clashing or failing to align. This perspective shifts our reaction from one of mere hurt or resentment to one of inquiry and growth. Incorporating Stoic principles further enhances this empowerment. Stoicism teaches us that our real power lies in our response to adversity. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about the importance of facing challenges with a calm and composed mind, using them as opportunities to practice virtue and strengthen character. When we apply this to betrayal, we learn not to be swayed by external events, but to find a stable grounding within ourselves. By doing so, we maintain our dignity and peace of mind regardless of others' actions. Moreover, this understanding encourages us not to be embittered by our experiences, but instead to use them as catalysts for personal development. Each incident of betrayal, each breaking of trust, can be a stepping stone to a more enlightened self, one who is more discerning, less reactive, and more at peace with the complexity of human relationships. This does not mean becoming guarded or cynical, but rather developing a mature awareness of the potential for both good and ill in all relationships. Empowerment also means embracing a proactive stance in life, instead of being a passive recipient of others' actions. Understanding betrayal arms us with the knowledge and tools to actively shape our social world. It teaches us to set boundaries, communicate openly, and cultivate a diverse network of relationships, all of which enhance our emotional and social resilience. T was going, but it didn't help. As she continued to stare into the distance, she didn't understand why this uneasiness was building inside her body. Every one of us, at some point, feels like life is spinning out of control. Whether it's a lost job, a broken relationship, or just the chaotic pace of daily routines, these moments can leave us feeling helpless and overwhelmed. But what if I told you there's a way to not just survive these challenges, but to thrive amidst them? Today, we're going to unpack 10 powerful strategies inspired by Stoic philosophy, an ancient yet timeless wisdom that teaches us how to strengthen our mental fortitude. We'll explore how figures like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus turn their philosophical insights into practical tools for overcoming adversity and maintaining inner peace. By the end of this video, you'll have mastered the art of mental strength, ready to face life's storms with composure and resilience. So stay tuned as we delve into these transformative techniques that promise to bolster your mental defenses and enhance your life's quality. If you appreciate what we're doing here and want to keep learning with us, hitting the subscribe button is a simple, free way to show your support. And remember, don't skip any part of this video. Every technique we discuss could be the key to your next personal breakthrough. Let's dive in and discover how to apply these age-old Stoic principles to our modern-day challenges. When life knocks you down, it's tempting to view it as a personal defeat. But here's a Stoic twist. Those setbacks, they're actually your secret weapons. Think about the last time you faced something truly challenging. Maybe you didn't get that promotion you were sure was yours, or perhaps a relationship didn't work out the way you hoped. Instead of viewing these as mere failures, Stoicism invites us to see them as pivotal moments of learning and growth. Aristotle once mused that the more you know, the more you realize you don't know. This rings especially true when we face challenges. Each difficult situation is a classroom, and the lessons we learn are about our resilience, our adaptability, and our true desires. For example, not getting that promotion might reveal an opportunity to enhance certain skills, or even reconsider our career path to find something that aligns better with our passions and capabilities. A relationship ending might be tough, but it also opens the door to self-discovery and understanding what we truly value in partnerships. This Stoic practice isn't just about looking on the bright side. It's about actively using every hurdle as a step to climb higher. It's about taking control of the narrative of our lives. By embracing challenges as opportunities, we're not just passively getting through life, we're actively shaping it. Each challenge molds us, teaches us, and prepares us for future obstacles, turning what could be stumbling blocks into stepping stones. This mindset doesn't just make us mentally stronger, it makes us architects of our own destiny, building a robust foundation of character and resilience. Imagine for a moment that your abilities are like clay in a potter's hands, moldable, adaptable, and capable of forming into whatever shape we desire. This is the essence of a growth mindset, a concept that isn't just modern psychology, but deeply rooted in ancient wisdom. The Stoics believed that our character could be shaped by our thoughts and actions, reinforcing the idea that personal growth is within our control. Adopting a growth mindset means seeing yourself as a work in progress. It's about embracing the belief that with effort, perseverance, and resilience, improvement is always within reach. Consider the challenges you face not as indicators of your inabilities, but as opportunities to evolve. Every time you push through a tough project or step out of your comfort zone, you're not just accomplishing a task, you're stretching and growing your capabilities. This mindset shift can be incredibly liberating. It removes the shackles of perceived limitations and opens up a world of possibilities. Where once you might have thought, I can't do this, with a growth mindset, you begin to think, I can't do this yet. It's a small word, but that yet is powerful. It's full of potential and future success. Seneca, a Stoic philosopher, once said, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult." This speaks directly to the heart of a growth mindset. By daring to try, to fail, and to try again, we make our tasks less daunting. We learn that failure isn't the opposite of success, but a vital part of achieving it. Each failure teaches us something new about how to approach problems, hone our skills, and become better than we were yesterday. You know, there's a common misconception that self-discipline is about punishing yourself, about gritting your teeth and just grinding through life. But let's reframe that idea, because what it really revolves around is the concept of self-mastery, a key component in Stoic philosophy. It's about aligning your actions with your values and goals, not as a form of punishment, but as a path to genuine freedom. When you practice self-discipline, you're essentially saying, I am in control of my actions, and I choose to act in ways that lead me closer to my ideal self. Self-discipline is the art of choosing long-term satisfaction over short-term pleasure, which is a core Stoic practice. Think about Marcus Aurelius and his meditations. He wasn't just ruling an empire, he was mastering himself. This mastery over his desires and impulses allowed him to lead a life that was not only meaningful, but also aligned with his principles. Now, imagine applying that kind of discipline to your own life. Say you want to get healthier. The disciplined choice isn't just about denying yourself that extra slice of cake. It's about choosing to respect your body's needs and your health goals over fleeting cravings. Building this kind of discipline can start small. It might be as simple as getting up with your first alarm in the morning. Each time you resist the temptation to hit snooze, you strengthen your willpower. It's like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it becomes. And as this strength builds, so does your ability to tackle larger challenges. Suddenly, tasks that once felt daunting or out of reach seem manageable because you've trained yourself to persevere. So when we talk about self-discipline in the Stoic sense, we're really talking about freedom. It's the freedom to choose your actions based on your rational decisions rather than whims or fleeting emotions. This isn't about restricting your life. It's about enhancing it, ensuring that every choice you make is a brick in the foundation of the life you want to build. It's easy to fall into the blame game when things go wrong, pointing fingers at others or circumstances, but here's where Stoic philosophy offers a powerful shift in perspective. Stoics like Epictetus believed that our responses to events are within our control, even when the events themselves are not. This idea is transformative because it means that you are the architect of your own experience, not merely a victim of circumstances. Taking responsibility means recognizing that your reactions, your emotions, and your actions are up to you. It's about looking in the mirror and saying, how did I contribute to this situation, and what can I do differently next time? This isn't about self-blame or guilt. It's about empowerment and growth. For instance, if a project at work doesn't go as planned, instead of blaming the team, the resources, or the timing, examine your own role. Could you have communicated more clearly? Was there a misstep in your planning? Acknowledging these things doesn't diminish your capabilities. It enhances them by paving the way for better strategies and solutions in the future. By embracing this level of accountability, you cultivate a sense of integrity and honesty with yourself that is deeply grounding. It leads to a life where you feel in control of your destiny rather than tossed about by the winds of fate. And here's the best part. When you start taking responsibility for your actions, you also start to recognize your power to change your life. You're no longer a passive participant, but an active creator in your world. This approach fosters a deeper resilience as you're not constantly derailed by unexpected outcomes. Instead, you learn from them, adjust, and move forward. It's about turning life's lessons into stepping stones toward a wiser, more capable you. Life's emotional roller coaster can really test our mettle, can't it? One minute you're up, the next you're down, and sometimes it feels like you're just stuck in a loop. But here's something Stoic philosophy teaches us. Resilience isn't about avoiding these ups and downs, it's about navigating them with grace. Stoics like Seneca believed that developing emotional resilience was key to maintaining inner peace, no matter the external chaos. Building emotional resilience starts with acceptance. It's about acknowledging that hardships, setbacks, and negative emotions are part of life. Think about it. Getting upset about feeling upset only adds another layer of distress. Instead, when challenges arise, recognize them as opportunities to practice maintaining your composure. For example, if you get passed over for a promotion, allow yourself to feel disappointed, but don't let that disappointment derail your entire sense of self-worth. This is what the Stoics meant when they talked about using obstacles as fuel. Every emotional challenge is another chance to strengthen your resilience. Moreover, cultivating this resilience involves more than just dealing with disappointments. It's also about embracing a broader perspective. Consider the idea that every hardship might be serving a greater purpose in your personal growth. This shift in viewpoint can transform the emotional weight of an experience, turning feelings of victimhood into lessons of empowerment. But how do we practically build this resilience? Start small. Practice mindfulness to stay present during emotional disturbances. Engage in reflective journaling to process feelings constructively, or simply talk things out with someone whose perspective you trust. Over time, these practices help you develop a buffer against the rough patches, ensuring you're not so easily knocked off balance. Embracing this aspect of Stoic wisdom doesn't mean you won't feel pain or stress. Rather, it means you'll be better equipped to handle it. Emotional resilience is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And as you build this strength, you'll find that not only can you handle life's challenges better, but you're also more capable of enjoying life's joys fully and without reservation. Sometimes the difference between a good day and a tough one is simply our mindset. As we started, it might sound a bit out there, but hear me out. The power of your thoughts can truly shape your reality. This is where the practice of positive affirmations comes into play, a technique that's not only backed by modern psychology, but also echoes the Stoic focus on controlling what's within our power, our thoughts and reactions. Positive affirmations are like little anchors of self-belief that we plant firmly in our minds. They help combat the often automatic negative thoughts that can cloud our days and influence our actions negatively. For instance, instead of waking up with the dread of what could go wrong, imagine starting your day by affirming, "I have the strength to handle whatever comes my way," or "I am capable and prepared for my tasks." These aren't just feel-good quotes, they're declarations that set the tone for how you interact with the world around you. The Stoics weren't about empty optimism, but they valued the importance of a well-ordered mind and maintaining a positive outlook. They believed that our emotions and behaviors are the result of our judgments and thoughts, which means by shaping those thoughts, we can influence our emotional state and actions significantly. Marcus Aurelius, for instance, would remind himself every morning of the challenges he would face and affirm his ability to deal with them honorably and with patience. Integrating positive affirmations into your daily routine can start very simply. You might post sticky notes on your bathroom mirror with affirmations written on them, or set reminders on your phone to pause for a moment and repeat a few empowering words to yourself throughout the day. Over time, these affirmations help to overwrite those deep-seated beliefs that we are not enough, enabling us to approach life's challenges with more confidence and less anxiety. It's easy to feel overwhelmed when we think about all the things in life we can't control, the news, the weather, or other people's actions. But here's a refreshing thought from the Stoic playbook. Why not shift our focus to what we can influence? Stoicism teaches us the value of distinguishing between what is in our power and what isn't, and then pouring our energy into the former. This philosophy isn't about resignation, it's about empowerment. For instance, we can't control whether we'll face traffic on our commute, but we can control leaving early enough to feel relaxed on the road, or choosing an audiobook that makes the time pass more enjoyably. This approach can be applied to bigger aspects of life too. We might not have the power to change a difficult co-worker's behavior, but we can control our reactions to them, choosing to respond with patience and understanding rather than frustration. By focusing on our own actions, decisions, and attitudes, we harness the power of our agency. This doesn't just reduce stress, it builds confidence. Every time you choose to focus on what you can control, you're taking responsibility for your own peace of mind and well-being. It's a proactive stance. You're not just being tossed by the waves of fate, you're steering your own ship. And the more we practice this, the more natural it becomes. Start with small things, your posture, your breathing, or the way you allocate your time each morning. As these small efforts accumulate, they lead to significant changes in how resilient and responsive we feel. We begin to see that, though we can't control the world, we can control our place within it, making thoughtful choices that align with our values and goals. Ever noticed how a coffee catch-up with a cheerful friend can lift your spirits for the entire day? It's like their optimism is contagious, right? That's the power of surrounding yourself with positive people. It not only boosts your mood, but can fundamentally shift your outlook on life. Stoic philosophy, with its emphasis on inner tranquility and rational thinking, also recognizes the influence our social circles have on our personal growth and mindset. The Stoics were keen on the idea that to live a virtuous and content life, one must engage with those who embody the qualities we aspire to. If you spend time with individuals who are committed to personal growth, kindness, and positivity, you're more likely to cultivate these traits in yourself. Think about it. When you're around someone who faces challenges with a calm and optimistic outlook, their approach can inspire you to handle your own difficulties more gracefully. This doesn't mean you should shun friends who are going through tough times. Rather, it's about balancing empathy with the need to protect your own mental health. Being there for a friend in need is important, but so is immersing yourself in a community that uplifts and motivates you. Positive people aren't just happy all the time. They're realistic, resilient, and proactive. They're the ones who see a setback as a setup for a comeback, and their resilience can motivate you to adopt a similar attitude. To integrate this into your life, start by evaluating your current relationships. Which interactions leave you feeling energized? Which ones drain you? Gradually, spend more time with the energizers, and consider setting boundaries with those who drain you. Also, seek out new connections that align with your aspirations. Join clubs, groups, or online communities that share your interests or values. As you cultivate a supportive network, you'll find that their positive influences make it easier to maintain your own stoic balance and focus, enhancing your overall well-being and life satisfaction. By choosing your social circle wisely, you're not just choosing friends, you're choosing your future mindset and emotional environment. So, take a page from the Stoics. Let your friendships be your fortress, supporting and strengthening you as you navigate life's ups and downs. Taking a moment for yourself in today's non-stop world can sometimes feel like a luxury you can't afford, right? But here's the thing. Self-care isn't a luxury at all. It's essential, especially if we want to live the balanced, contented life that Stoicism teaches us about. Stoic philosophy isn't just about endurance, it's about flourishing in every aspect of life, and that includes taking good care of our body and mind. Self-care is often pictured as long bubble baths or days at the spa, but in Stoic terms, it's more about ensuring you're in the best shape to face whatever life throws your way. It's about creating a routine that includes activities that recharge your batteries and reset your spirit, not just once in a blue moon, but as a regular part of your life. This could be as simple as making sure you get enough sleep, eating nourishing foods, or setting aside time each day for meditation or reflection. Think of it this way. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers and a Roman emperor, despite his immense responsibilities, found time to write meditations that focused on his own self-improvement and philosophical reflection. If someone as busy as he was made time for self-care, we can too. And self-care isn't selfish, it's necessary. By taking care of ourselves, we are better equipped to be there for others and to face our responsibilities with a clear, focused mind. Incorporating self-care into your routine can start with small steps. Begin by identifying what truly replenishes you. Is it a quiet walk in the park, a rigorous workout, or perhaps just some quiet time with a book? Once you know what works for you, make it a non-negotiable part of your day or week. Schedule it like you would any important appointment, and guard that time against the demands of daily life. By consistently practicing self-care, you're not just looking after your physical health, but you're also nurturing your mental resilience. You're giving yourself a break from the stresses of daily life, which can boost your ability to think clearly and act wisely. Remember, a well-maintained tool performs best, and you are the most important tool in your life. Isn't it fascinating how each day offers us new lessons? No matter how old or experienced we might be, that's something the Stoics deeply understood and cherished. The endless journey of learning. They believed that wisdom wasn't just about accumulating knowledge, but about continuously adapting and applying that knowledge to improve oneself and cope better with life. Seneca, one of the great Stoic thinkers, once said, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." It's a reminder that personal growth doesn't have a finish line. It's a lifelong pursuit. In the modern world, where change is the only constant, embracing a philosophy of never-ending learning is more relevant than ever. Think about all the successful people you know or have read about. What do they have in common? A relentless curiosity and a commitment to continuous learning. They read books, they experiment, they seek new experiences, and they aren't afraid to ask questions and challenge their own assumptions. But here's the best part. You don't need to be a great philosopher or a famous entrepreneur to benefit from this approach. All it takes is a commitment to remain open to new ideas and experiences, whether it's picking up a new hobby, learning a new skill, or simply reading a book outside of your usual genre. Every new thing you learn not only adds to your knowledge, but also enhances your understanding of the world. So how do you make continuous learning a part of your life? Start by setting achievable goals, like reading one book a month or completing an online course every quarter. Keep your mind active by engaging in discussions, attending workshops, or even teaching others what you know. Teaching is a fantastic way to deepen your understanding of a subject because it challenges you to present it clearly and thoughtfully. And there you have it. 10 powerful steps to not just cope with life's ups and downs, but to thrive through them. Modern life is like a chaotic whirlwind where focus has become a luxury. We are swept up in the vortex of information, social media, and fleeting pleasures, forgetting the most important thing, ourselves. Several times over. If you don't control your thoughts, emotions, and actions, you will forever be a pup pet of the outside world. By the end of this video, you will have a toolkit that not only helps shield you from distractions, but also steers you toward a life of purpose and control. If you appreciate what we're doing here, a simple, free favor you could do is hit that subscribe button and stick with us throughout the whole video. Trust me, you won't want to miss a beat. Let's unlock the secrets to living a focused, purpose-driven life. Taking charge of your life is more than just a power move. It's a necessary for anyone looking to break free from the relentless pull of modern distractions and pressures. You know, there's something incredibly empowering about realizing that you, and only you, have the ultimate say over your thoughts, emotions, and daily actions. It's like waking up one day and understanding that the reins of your life are and always have been in your hands. Now, Stoicism teaches us the importance of focusing on what we can control, our own actions and reactions. The ancient Stoics believed that while we can't control the world around us, we can control how we respond to it. Think about that for a moment. Every day we face a barrage of decisions: what to prioritize, how to respond to challenges, and where to invest our energy. If we don't make these decisions consciously, we're just reacting to what life throws at us. But when we start to take control, we're not just reacting anymore. We're acting with purpose and intention. And here's the real kicker. Taking control of your life doesn't mean you have to do everything alone or become a lone wolf. Instead, it's about understanding your value, aligning your actions with those values, and setting boundaries that help you stay true to yourself. It's about recognizing when to say yes, and more importantly, when to say no. How often have you found yourself stretched too thin, committed to tasks or engagements that don't serve your ultimate goals? Each time you take on something that doesn't align with your core values, you're not just using up time, you're diluting your essence, your personal power. This act of taking control also intertwines with the concept of responsibility. Stoicism doesn't just teach us to endure life's hardships, but to embrace responsibility for our own lives, including our happiness and well-being. It's about accepting that if you want life to change, you must change how you live it. This might mean rethinking your daily habits, rethinking your commitments, and restructuring how you spend your time. Imagine the freedom that comes with this control. Suddenly, you're not at the mercy of your circumstances. You can choose how to react when things go awry and how to forge ahead with your long-term vision, no matter the short-term setbacks. This kind of mindset shift is powerful. It's not just about avoiding the negative either. It's about actively creating the positive, about making space in your life for the things that truly matter. And let's not forget about the peace that comes from this approach. When you're in control, there's a profound sense of calm that pervades everything you do. You're no longer caught in the tide being swept this way and that. Instead, you move through life with a stoic tranquility, knowing that come what may, you have the inner resources to handle it. Discipline and sacrifice might sound like big heavy words, sounds that bring to mind grueling workouts or giving up all your favorite foods. But when you really think about it, these concepts are about creating a life that aligns with your deepest values and aspirations. It's about choosing your long-term well-being over momentary pleasures, and that's a powerful choice to make. When we dive into Stoic philosophy, we see a strong emphasis on self-control and the power of living according to reason rather than being swayed by fleeting emotions or desires. The Stoics weren't about denying themselves joy, but they were all about choosing a joy that lasts, choosing virtues that stand the test of time over quick fixes or superficial success. Building discipline is essentially building the muscle that helps you consistently make those choices. It's the practice of lining your actions with your values, day in and day out, even when it's not the easy thing to do. Now, let's talk about sacrifice. Sacrifice is often seen as giving something up, but in a Stoic sense, it's more about investment. You're not losing something, you're investing in something greater. Every time you say no to something that doesn't serve your ultimate goals, you're saying yes to something else that does. Want to build a business? That might mean sacrificing lazy weekends. Aiming to be healthier? That might mean passing on deserts. It's all about priorities, and making those tough choices consistently helps you build a life that truly reflects who you are and who you want to be. And here's the thing about discipline and sacrifice. They feed into each other. The more disciplined you are, the easier it becomes to make sacrifices because you're clear about what you're sacrificing for. It's not deprivation if it's a choice that leads you to a richer, more fulfilling life. In fact, that clarity and purpose can bring a profound sense of satisfaction and empowerment. It's like looking at a map and knowing you're on the right path. Even if the terrain is tough, you know where you're heading, and every step, no matter how challenging, is a step toward your destination. Now, I know what you might be thinking. That sounds great in theory, but it's not so simple in practice. And you're right, it's not simple. But it is straightforward. Decision plan doesn't complicate your life. It simplifies it. Think about it. When you have clear rules for how you live, rules you've set for yourself, based on what truly matters to you, every decision becomes easier. There's less hemming and hawing over every little choice because you already know what's important. You become more decisive, more free, and ironically more free. Free from indecision, from regret, and from feeling like you're not in control of your life. Embracing discipline and sacrifice also leads to greater self-respect and self-trust. Each time you follow through on a commitment to yourself, you prove to yourself that you are reliable, that you are worthy of trust, and that you have what it takes to achieve your goals. That's a powerful foundation to build your life on. It's not about being rigid or harsh with yourself. It's about being honest about what it takes to live a life you can be proud of, and then having the courage to live it. So, while discipline and sacrifice might seem daunting, remember that they are the tools with which you carve out a life worth living. They are the practices that allow you to rise above the chaos of everyday decisions and distractions and focus on what's truly important. And in the grand scheme of things, that's not just important, it's everything. Building a disciplined life, a life where sacrifices are seen as stepping stones to greater achievement, is what Stoicism is all about. It's not the easy path, but it is the rewarding one. When you think about it, how we organize our day says a lot about what we value. A cluttered, chatty schedule can reflect a chatty mind or life. But a well-structured day where every task and every moment has a purpose, that speaks volumes about intentionality and focus. It's not just about getting things done, it's about making sure what we do matters, aligning our daily actions with our long-term visions. In Stoicism, there's a big emphasis on living deliberately. It's not enough to float along, reacting to whatever life throws at us. Stoics teach us the value of proactivity, of crafting our lives with the same care and attention that a sculptor might use when chiseling a statue from marble. And how do we do that? By carefully choosing how we spend our time and energy each day. Scheduling and focus aren't just productivity tools. They are fundamental practices that help us live more virtuously and purposefully. Think about your typical day. How much of it is spent doing things that truly resonate with your core values? How much is spent in distraction or in activities that don't really serve you? The truth is, without a clear schedule and a sharp focus, it's all too easy to drift off course. Our modern world is engineered to pull our attention in a million different directions. Notifications, the endless scroll on social media, the latest drama. It can all take away from time that could be spent on more fulfilling pursuits. This is where the art of focus comes in. Focus is not just a skill. It's a practice, almost a form of meditation. It's about bringing your attention back to the present moment and to the task at hand again and again, no matter how many times it wanders. It's about being present in your own life. And scheduling? That's about priority. It's about deciding what's important enough to take up your time. A solid schedule protects your focus by creating boundaries, shielding your energy from the myriad of less important things that could otherwise obsess your day. Stoicism isn't just about enduring life. It's about enjoying it in a rational, thoughtful way. By setting a schedule that reflects your priorities, you're effectively mapping out a path to your best self. And by sticking to this schedule with focused intent, you're walking that path every single day, regardless of external circumstances. This kind of disciplined approach frees you from the tyranny of whims and impulses, and instead grounds your actions in your own chosen value. And let's not underestimate the peace that comes with this kind of structured approach. When you know what you need to do and when you're going to do it, there's a certain calm that settles in. You no longer need to fret about when you'll get to your tasks or whether you're making progress on your goals. Your schedule has it covered. This clarity and peace of mind are priceless. They allow you to fully engage with each task, each moment with full confidence that you're exactly where you need to be. So, how do we start? Begin by evaluating how you currently spend your day. Identify the time sinks, the habitual activities that don't serve your larger goals. Next, think about what you truly want to accomplish both in the short term and the long term. Now, craft your schedule around these insights. Block out time for the activities that drive you toward your goals and be ruthless about cutting out the distractions. Remember, focus and scheduling are skills, and like all skills, they improve with practice. The more you practice focusing on the task at hand and adhering to a well-thought-out schedule, the more natural it will become. Over time, what once felt restrictive will start to feel like freedom. The freedom to live a life that's fully aligned with your deepest values and aspirations. In a world that often seems obsessed with outcomes and end results, it's easy to forget that the journey, the process itself, is where the real magic happens. It's where we learn, grow, and truly make a difference in our own lives and the lives of others. We get so focused on the destination that we sometimes speed past the experiences that shape us, the moments where we find our true strengths and weaknesses. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control. And while we can influence outcomes, we can't control them entirely. What we can manage every day settles our actions and attitude after the actions, and assess the process by shifting our focus from outcomes to the actions that lead to those outcomes. We gain a much deeper sense of control and satisfaction. It's not just about reaching the peak of the mountain. It's about becoming someone who can climb mountains at will. Think about it this way. If you were only fixed on getting to the top of a mountain, you might miss the lessons learned from the struggle of the ascent, the adaptation to the harsh winds, or the strategy needed to tackle the next climb. These experiences are invaluable. They don't just prepare us for one specific goal, but for any challenge that might come our way. In focusing on the process, we become versatile, resilient, and prepared. We become masters of adaptation, not just momentary champions. And here's something else to consider. When we focus solely on results, we're often tempted to take shortcuts. We might achieve our immediate goals, but at what cost? By valuing the process, we ensure that we are building something sustainable, that we're not just building a house of cards ready to topple over at the first sign of trouble. We're laying down a strong foundation, brick by brick, with our own hands. This approach breeds a type of integrity and authenticity that quick wins simply can't match. Moreover, by embracing the process, we learn to find joy in the everyday. Each step becomes rewarding, not just the moment of crossing a finish line. For Stoics, joy comes from performing each task with care and attention, from living according to virtue in the present moment, without being overly attached to the past or anxiously awaiting the future. This mindful approach frees us from the anxiety of what-ifs and if-onlys, allowing us to live fully in the now, appreciating each stroke of the brush as we paint the canvas of our lives. So, how do we make this shift in perspective? Start by setting small, process-oriented goals alongside your larger, outcome-based goals. For instance, instead of just aiming to lose weight, an outcome, set a goal to walk a certain number of steps each day, or to cook a healthy meal each evening. The process. Celebrate these small victories as fervently as you would the achievement of the final goal. Over time, these process goals will build habits, and habits build the kind of life you want to live, one day at a time. In erasing the process, we also cultivate patience, a virtue highly regarded in Stoic philosophy. Patience isn't just about waiting, it's about maintaining a good attitude while working toward your goals, knowing that some things just can't be rushed. It's about trusting the process and being open to the lessons it teaches us. Sometimes, in the constant buzz of our social world, the idea of solitude can feel like a forgotten art. It's almost as if being alone has become synonymous with loneliness or isolation. But there's a profound difference between being lonely and embracing solitude. When we choose solitude, we're not just stepping away from the noise of the world, we're stepping closer to ourselves. It's in these moments of quiet that we often find our deepest clarity and strength. Stoicism, a philosophy that teaches the mastery of self through rational thought and emotional resilience, places great value on solitude. The Stoics understood that some of the most important conversations we will ever have are the ones we have with ourselves. In solitude, away from the influence of external voices and distractions, we can hear our own thoughts more clearly. We can reflect, plan, and connect with our deeper values and aspirations. This isn't about escaping from the world, but rather preparing ourselves to engage with it more effectively. Embracing solitude gives us the space to practice self-reflection, a key Stoic exercise. It allows us to examine our lives critically and compassionately, to acknowledge our flaws and to celebrate our strengths. This kind of introspection helps us understand our motivations and correct our course if we find we've strayed from our chosen path. By regularly engaging in this practice, we build a stronger sense of self-awareness, which is crucial for personal growth and resilience. Moreover, solitude can be a powerful tool to strengthen our inner resolve. In the quiet, we are the sole architects of our thoughts. There is no crowd to sway us, no peer pressure to influence our decisions. It's just us and our principles. This environment is where we can best cultivate fortitude and endurance. It's where we learn to be self-reliant, finding comfort in our own payment and confidence in our own decisions. But how do we embrace solitude in a world that often fears it? Start small. Dedicate a few minutes each day to sit quietly with your thoughts. Maybe it's a morning routine where you reflect on what you want from the day, or perhaps an evening ritual where you ponder what you've learned and how you've grown. These moments alone are not about idleness. They are a place to reset pauses that can help recalibrate your mind and spirit. Remember, the goal of embracing solitude is not to disengage from the relationships and activities that enrich our lives. Instead, it's about creating a balance, Just as our bodies need rest after exertion, our minds benefit from quiet after the clamor. Solitude provides a sanctuary where our minds can rest and recover, gaining the strength needed to face the complexities of life with a calm and steady demeanor. Have you ever felt like a small boat, adrift in the vast ocean of social connections, yearning to be anchored in the hearts and minds of those around you? In this whirlwind of digital connectivity, where thousands of voices clamor for attention, it's easy to feel lost, unnoticed, and undervalued. But what if I told you that there's a timeless philosophy that can be your compass, guiding you to become not just another face in the crowd, but someone who truly matters to those around you? Welcome to a journey where ancient wisdom meets modern life. Today, we're diving deep into the art of making yourself a priority in others' lives, not through manipulation or games, but through the profound and authentic principles of Stoicism. Stay with me as we explore how to be a beacon in the sea of relationships, shining brightly enough to be seen, valued, and cherished. And if you're ready to unlock these secrets, make sure to hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, share this video with your circle, and stay tuned until the end for every insightful moment. Because every second of this journey could be the key to transforming your relationship. Step 1. Context and problem. In our quest for significance in the complex tapestry of social relationships, we frequently encounter a disheartening imbalance, a pervasive sense that we hold others in higher regard than they do us. This perception, often shadowed by the disquieting feeling of being undervalued, leads us to a profound exploration of self-worth. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy rich in wisdom, offers us a beacon of guidance in this regard. The Stoic philosophy, rooted in the teachings of thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, emphasizes an internal locus of control. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, profoundly observed, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This powerful statement echoes the Stoic belief that true worth and contentment arise not from external validation, but from within. It's a reminder that our value does not depend on the whims or perceptions of others, but on our own self-perception and inner resilience. Seneca, another stalwart of Stoicism, accentuated the importance of self-reliance and inner fortitude. He eloquently stated, "If a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable." This insight underscores the necessity of self-awareness and having a clear understanding of our own values and goals. In the context of our social relationships, it suggests that knowing ourselves and our worth is the first step in being valued appropriately by others. Epictetus, with his emphasis on the dichotomy of control, reinforces this Stoic approach. He argued that we must focus on what is within our power, our responses, our attitudes, and our actions, and let go of our concern over how others perceive us. This detachment from external validation is liberating and empowers us to cultivate a sense of self-worth that is independent of others' opinions. The Stoic approach to finding worth within oneself resonates with contemporary psychological theories as well. Carl Jung, a pivotal figure in the field of psychology, once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." This aligns with the Stoic principle of authentic living, the idea that true value and happiness are found in living in accordance with one's own nature and virtues. Step 2. Solution and application. In this exploration of strengthening our significance in the lives of others, we turn to the rich wellspring of Stoicism and the broader landscape of philosophical thought for practical methods. The focus here is not on manipulation or superficial tactics, but rather on fostering a wise and sincere approach to building authentic, high-value relationships. At the heart of Stoicism lies the wisdom of understanding and controlling what is within our power. As Epictetus famously stated, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." In the context of relationships, this means focusing on our actions, reactions, and the genuine nature of our interactions with others. By doing so, we enhance the quality of our presence in others' lives, making it more likely for them to genuinely value and appreciate us. Marcus Aurelius, another renowned Stoic philosopher, emphasized the importance of authenticity in our interactions. He advised, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. This speaks to the core of forming high-value relationships, being genuine, kind, and true to our principles in all our interactions. By embodying the virtues we admire, we naturally attract people who value these qualities, thereby establishing a foundation for meaningful and enduring relationships. Furthermore, Seneca's teachings on the brevity of life and the importance of living in accordance with nature remind us to value the time we spend with others. He said, "Life, if well lived, is long enough." This underscores the idea of being fully present and engaged in our interactions, making every moment count. By bringing our full attention and sincerity to our relationships, we signal to others that they are important to us, inviting a reciprocal appreciation and deepening of the bond. The application of these Stoic principles is also reflected in the broader philosophical context. Aristotle's concept of eudaimonia, or flourishing, is achieved through virtuous activities that constitute a life well lived. In the realm of relationships, this translates to engaging in interactions that are mutually enriching, honest, and respectful. By striving for personal excellence in how we treat others, we cultivate relationships that are not only valuable but also contribute to our overall well-being and fulfillment. Carl Jung's insights into the psyche further illuminate this approach. He believed in the power of individuation, the process of becoming aware of oneself and the world around us. Jung stated, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." This perspective encourages us to engage in relationships as whole, self-aware individuals, capable of profound connections that transform and enrich both parties. Step 3. Stoic principle, the Stoic philosophy, deeply rooted in the wisdom of thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, provides profound insight into the nature of relationships and self-worth. The saying, "Show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are," reflects not just the impact of our social circle on our identity, but also the significance of reciprocity in relationships. Stoicism encourages us to examine these dynamics closely, particularly the value we assign to ourselves and how this is reflected in our interactions with others. Marcus Aurelius, a prominent Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, emphasized the importance of self-reflection in understanding one's value in relationships. He believed in looking inward to find true worth rather than seeking validation externally. Aurelius famously said, "The value of a man is measured by the value he places on himself." This highlights the Stoic principle that our self-worth should not be excessively dependent on others' perceptions or priorities. Instead, it should be grounded in our own understanding of our value and contribution. Seneca, another key Stoic figure, spoke about the balance between being social beings and maintaining our independence. He advised, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." This suggests choosing relationships that are mutually beneficial and uplifting, rather than being in ones where we feel undervalued or neglected. Seneca's guidance implies that being needy or overly dependent on others for our sense of self-worth can lead to unfulfilling relationships. Instead, we should cultivate relationships that encourage mutual growth and respect. Epictetus, known for his teachings on control and acceptance, also touches upon this subject. He said, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." Applying this to relationships, it means understanding that we may not always be a priority for others, and that's okay. What we can control is how we respond to this realization and how we value ourselves in these dynamics. Western philosophy and psychology echo these sentiments. Aristotle spoke of the golden mean, where virtue lies in finding a balance, in this case between valuing oneself and valuing others in a relationship. Carl Jung, a prominent psychologist, emphasized the importance of individuation, where understanding and integrating aspects of oneself leads to personal growth and healthier relationships. Step 4. Practical actions in the quest to be more valued in our relationships, Stoicism offers a pragmatic and dignified approach centered around the management of our presence and availability. This philosophy, deeply rooted in the wisdom of luminaries like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, provides guidance on how to navigate our social interactions with grace and intention. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, highlighted the importance of valuing one's time and presence. He taught that time is one of the few things under our control in a world governed by fate and external circumstances. By judiciously managing our availability, we signal to others the value of our time and, in turn, increase our own worth in their eyes. Aurelius believed in the principle of purposeful action, which includes making conscious decisions about when and how to engage with others. Seneca, another prominent Stoic philosopher, echoed this sentiment. He advised that we should be selective with our company and time. Seneca's teachings suggest that by occasionally withdrawing our presence, we allow others to appreciate our value more fully. He wrote, "True happiness is to be free from the yoke of our own desires and to be able to relax and lay aside our anxiety. This relaxation includes not succumbing to the need for constant social validation and understanding the power of absence in enhancing our relationships." Epictetus, a Greek Stoic philosopher, emphasized the importance of focusing on what we can control. He said, "Only the educated are free." In the context of relationships, this education involves understanding that we have the power to manage our time and attention. By controlling our availability, we assert our freedom and self-respect, which, in turn, leads others to value and respect us more. Western philosophy and psychology also support these Stoic principles. Aristotle spoke about the golden mean, advocating for a balance in all things. In terms of social interactions, this means finding a middle ground between being overly available and completely inaccessible. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist, emphasized the importance of individuation, which involves understanding and integrating one's own needs and boundaries. This self-awareness leads to healthier interactions where one's time and presence are valued. In practical terms, to be more valued by others, we can start by judiciously managing our availability. It's not about playing games or being elusive, but about respecting our own time and teaching others to do the same. By occasionally allowing people to miss us, we create a healthy dynamic where our presence is appreciated and sought after. Remember, it's not about controlling others or the outcomes of our relationships, but about managing our own actions and choices with wisdom and dignity. Step 5. Developing patience. In Stoic philosophy, the concept of patience is elevated to an art form, a crucial skill for thriving amidst life's perpetual turmoil. This perspective, deeply embedded in the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, resonates with timeless relevance. Marcus Aurelius, renowned for his meditative reflections, saw patience as a form of inner fortress. He believed that our inner peace should not be at the mercy of external events. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This statement encapsulates the Stoic essence of patience. It's not about waiting idly for circumstances to change, but about maintaining a composed and resilient mindset, regardless of what life throws our way. Seneca, another luminary in Stoic thought, echoed similar sentiments. He viewed patience as a conscious resistance against the rushing tides of life, a means of maintaining dignity and grace under pressure. The greatest remedy for anger is delay, Seneca advised, suggesting that patience is a deliberate choice to pause and reflect rather than react impulsively. This approach is far from passive. It's an active engagement with our emotional landscape, mastering our impulses in favor of thoughtful responses. Epictetus, known for his practical wisdom, placed great emphasis on the dichotomy of control, teaching that while we cannot control external events, we have absolute power over our reactions. Patience, from this viewpoint, is a manifestation of this control, a serene assertion of our ability to endure and persevere. No man is free who is not master of himself, Epictetus asserted, highlighting that true freedom comes from self-mastery, of which patience is a vital component. From a broader Western philosophical and psychological perspective, patience aligns with the ideals of emotional regulation and resilience. Aristotle's concept of the golden mean advocates for a balanced approach to life, suggesting that patience is a midpoint between passive inaction and rash impulsiveness. Carl Jung's focus on individuation, the process of becoming aware of oneself, aligns with the Stoic practice of patience. By understanding and managing our emotions, we attain a level of self-awareness and maturity that enhances our interactions with others and our environment. In contemporary terms, practicing patience means embracing the present moment without being overwhelmed by the desire for immediate results or responses. It's about maintaining composure in a fast-paced, often chaotic world. This quality makes us more attractive to others because it exudes confidence and stability. People are naturally drawn to those who display calmness and resilience in the face of adversity. Step 6. Self-prioritization. In the realm of Stoicism, the practice of self-prioritization is not just encouraged but seen as a necessary aspect of a balanced life. This notion finds echoes across various Western philosophical and psychological thoughts, emphasizing the importance of valuing oneself to be valued by others. Marcus Aurelius, a prominent Stoic philosopher, highlighted the significance of self-regard. He famously stated, "If you do not have respect for yourself, no one else will." This quote underscores the Stoic belief that self-respect is the cornerstone of how others perceive and treat us. When we prioritize our needs and learn to say no, we communicate to others that our time and energy are precious and deserve respect. Seneca, another Stoic thinker, argued for the virtue of self-care. He believed that caring for oneself is essential to living a fulfilled life. We are not given a short life, but we make it short, and we are not ill-supplied, but wasteful of it, Seneca wrote, implying that failing to prioritize ourselves leads to a wasted life. By saying no when necessary, we manage our resources wisely and lead a life of quality, not just in terms of time, but in our relationships and endeavors. Epictetus emphasized the concept of control, particularly over our actions and choices. He taught it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This idea is crucial in understanding self-prioritization. When we choose to prioritize our own needs, we are actively deciding how to react to the demands of others, thereby maintaining control over our lives. From a broader psychological perspective, Carl Jung's concept of individuation aligns with this Stoic practice. Jung believed in the importance of understanding oneself as an individual, separate from the collective. Prioritizing oneself is a step toward achieving this individuation, leading to a stronger, more defined personality that commands respect and importance from others. Aristotle's notion of the golden mean, the desirable middle between two extremes, also supports the idea of self-prioritization. Aristotle taught that virtue lies in finding balance, which includes balancing our own needs with the needs of others. Saying no is not an act of selfishness, but a practice of maintaining this balance. By applying these Stoic and philosophical principles, we learn that prioritizing ourselves is not an act of selfishness, but a necessary step toward being valued and respected by others. It teaches us to manage our personal resources effectively and sets a standard for how others should treat us. When we demonstrate that we value our own time and efforts, we naturally inspire others to do the same. This act of self-respect not only benefits our mental and emotional well-being, but also enhances our social and professional relationships. Step 7. Time management. In the teachings of Seneca, a luminary in the Stoic school of philosophy, we find profound insights on the wise use of time, a concept that resonates deeply in both ancient wisdom and contemporary thought. Seneca's perspective on time management is not just about efficiency or productivity, it's about the quality of life and making conscious, meaningful choices. Seneca, in his essay on the shortness of life, famously stated, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Life is long enough, and a sufficiently generous amount has been given to us for the highest achievements. If it were all well invested." This quote encapsulates the Stoic view that time, once lost, is something we can never regain. Therefore, Seneca urges us to be selective with whom we spend our time and how we spend it, emphasizing that our time is a precious and limited resource that should be used wisely and purposefully. This Stoic principle aligns with the thoughts of Aristotle, who believed in the importance of pursuing activities that enrich our soul. Aristotle taught that eudaimonia, or flourishing, is the highest good for human beings, and this can only be achieved by living a life of virtue and engaging in activities that fulfill our true nature. By managing our time wisely, we can devote more of it to activities that contribute to our personal growth and happiness. Plato, another great philosopher, also touched on the importance of self-reflection and personal growth. He believed that an unexamined life is not worth living. In this context, the wise management of time includes periods of introspection and contemplation, allowing us to understand ourselves and our place in the world better. From a psychological standpoint, Carl Jung's concept of individuation further supports the idea of wise time management. Jung emphasized the importance of personal development and self-realization. By choosing how we spend our time, we can engage in activities that contribute to our personal and psychological growth. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, also stressed the importance of focusing on what is within our control. He taught that we should not squander our time on things beyond our control, but instead focus on our actions and choices. This approach to time management is about making conscious decisions that reflect our values and goals. Step 8. Autonomy. Epictetus, a philosopher renowned for his profound insights into the nature of happiness and the good life, presents a compelling argument about the essence of true freedom. His assertion, "No man is free who is not master of himself," encapsulates a fundamental principle of personal autonomy and self-mastery. This concept, deeply rooted in Epicurean philosophy, emphasizes the importance of controlling our decisions and emotions as a pathway to enhancing our self-worth and autonomy. Epicurus's philosophy, though distinct from Stoicism, shares the conviction that inner peace and freedom stem from self-governance. He believed that pleasure, understood as the absence of pain and disturbance, is achieved through simple living, the cultivation of personal virtues, and the management of desires. This perspective encourages us to reflect on our emotional responses and decision-making processes, suggesting that true freedom is found not in external circumstances, but in how we manage our internal states. This idea resonates with the Stoic teachings of Epictetus, who famously said, "We are disturbed not by events, but by the views which we take of them." Epictetus emphasizes that our perception of events, more than the events themselves, determines our peace of mind. This Stoic view aligns with Epicurus's emphasis on internal mastery as the key to freedom. From a broader philosophical perspective, Aristotle's concept of eudaimonia, or flourishing, is achieved through the exercise of virtue and rationality, echoing the sentiment of self-mastery. Aristotle believed that living according to reason and virtue leads to the highest form of happiness, a state that is closely linked to having control over one's actions and emotions. In the realm of psychology, Carl Jung's emphasis on individuation, the process of becoming aware of one's self, aligns with this idea. Jung believed that becoming conscious of our inner world and integrating different aspects of our personality leads to psychological wholeness and autonomy. This process involves understanding and managing our emotions, thoughts, and behaviors, much like what Epictetus and the Stoics advocate. Plato's philosophy also underscores the importance of self-governance. In his dialogues, Plato often explores the theme of ruling one's self as a precondition for ruling others. He suggests that self-mastery and the ability to govern one's passions and impulses are essential for a harmonious and virtuous life. It's a harsh reality, but some people in our lives take pleasure in causing harm and chaos. Think about it. You could be sharing moments, trusting someone, only to discover they are the very source of your turmoil. Today, we dive deep into a topic that's as fascinating as it is frightening, recognizing the signs you're dealing with an evil person. Whether it's a colleague, a friend, or even a family member, these individuals can be masters of deception, hiding their true nature behind charm and charisma. Today, We're not just exploring this dark side of human behavior out of curiosity. Understanding these signs can be life-changing. The Stoics believed in the power of perception and the importance of living a life guided by reason and virtue. By identifying and understanding these toxic traits, we can protect our peace of mind and cultivate healthier relationships, staying true to the principles of wisdom and self-control. Stay with us as we uncover 5 telltale signs of an evil person. By the end of this video, you'll not only be better equipped to spot these behaviors, but also learn practical ways to safeguard your mental health and well-being. And if you appreciate what we're doing here, a simple, free favor I'll ask from you is to hit the subscribe button. Please don't skip any part of the video. You won't want to miss our special bonus section, where I'll share an effective strategy for setting firm boundaries with these individuals. Let's embark on this journey of self-awareness and resilience together. Number 1, charming and charismatic at first. When we talk about people who seem charming and charismatic at first, it's important to remember that appearances can be deceiving. These individuals often have a way of lighting up a room, making everyone around them feel special and valued. They know exactly what to say to make you feel like you've just made a new best friend. At first glance, they seem like the perfect person, witty, engaging, and seemingly interested in your life. It's easy to get swept up in their charm, thinking you've found someone truly special. However, the Stoics teach us to look beyond the surface and seek the truth through rational thought and observation. Over time, you might start to notice little cracks in their facade. Maybe they always need to be the center of attention, overshadowing others in social settings. They might talk over you, interrupt you, or even subtly put you down in front of others. These aren't just quirks or signs of an extroverted personality. They're red flags. The Stoics would advise us to observe these behaviors with a clear mind, unclouded by the initial excitement of their charisma. Imagine being at a party where this person is the life of the event, telling jokes and captivating the crowd. At first, it feels great to be in their orbit, but as the evening progresses, you realize they're dominating every conversation, making everything about themselves. When you try to share something about your life, they quickly redirect the topic back to them. This is where the principle of apatheia, a state of being undisturbed by external things, comes in handy. By staying emotionally balanced, you can see through their charming act and recognize the self-centered nature underneath. It's also crucial to pay attention to how they react when things don't go their way. A person who is genuinely kind and caring will handle disappointments and disagreements with grace and understanding. But someone who is merely playing a role to gain your trust might quickly become angry or defensive. They might lash out or try to manipulate the situation to regain control. According to Stoic wisdom, such reactions are clear indicators of a lack of virtuous character. Marcus Aurelius reminds us to be wary of those who display signs of anger and manipulation, as these are not the traits of a rational and virtuous person. The key here is to take your time and trust your instinct. The Stoics believed in the power of observation and the importance of not rushing to judgment based on first impressions. Epictetus taught that we should carefully evaluate the character of those we allow into our inner circle. So, if someone seems too good to be true, give yourself the space to observe their actions over time. Notice how they treat others, especially when they think no one is watching. True character is revealed in how a person behaves when they aren't trying to impress anyone. Remember, not everyone who seems charming and charismatic has good intentions. Some people use their charm as a tool for manipulation. By staying grounded and mindful, you can protect yourself from being taken in by a superficial facade. Stay true to the principles of wisdom and discernment, and you'll be better equipped to navigate these complex social interactions. Another crucial sign to watch out for: a lack of empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. It's what allows us to connect deeply with those around us, to offer support when it's needed, and to create meaningful relationships. However, there are individuals out there who seem to completely lack this essential human trait. They don't care about how their actions or words affect others, and this can have a devastating impact on those around them. The Stoics believed in the importance of compassion and understanding as fundamental virtues. Marcus Aurelius often spoke about the interconnectedness of humanity and the need to consider the well-being of others as part of our own well-being. So, when we encounter someone who shows a blatant disregard for the feelings of others, it's a serious red flag. Imagine you're sharing something deeply personal with a friend, hoping for some comfort or understanding. Instead of showing any genuine concern, they brush off your feelings or even mock your vulnerability. This lack of empathy can make you feel isolated and misunderstood. It's not just about them not being there for you in tough times. It's also about them failing to share in your joy or celebrate your successes. A person who lacks empathy won't cheer for your achievements. They might even undermine them or take credit themselves. This behavior is not just limited to personal relationships. Consider a boss who pushes their employees to the brink, showing no concern for their well-being. They might demand long hours without fair compensation, ignore requests for time off, or publicly criticize employees in a way that's meant to humiliate rather than constructively guide. This creates a toxic work environment where people feel undervalued and stressed. The Stoics would advise us to maintain our inner peace and integrity in such situations, recognizing that the lack of empathy in others is a reflection of their character, not ours. Furthermore, a lack of empathy can lead to more sinister behaviors. People who cannot empathize with others may engage in actions that are outright cruel or without any sense of guilt or remorse. They might lie, cheat, or even inflict physical harm without a second thought about the pain they're causing. The Stoic philosopher Seneca emphasized the importance of kindness and justice, teaching that our actions should always reflect our inner virtue. When someone lacks empathy, they're fundamentally disconnected from these values. Lack of empathy is also evident in smaller, everyday interactions. For example, you might notice that someone constantly interrupts conversations to talk about themselves, shows little interest in what others have to say, or fails to offer help when it's clearly needed. These might seem like minor annoyances at first, but they add up to a pattern of behavior that reveals a deeper issue. The Stoics would remind us to be observant and discerning, understanding that these small signs are indicative of a person's true character. If you find yourself dealing with someone who consistently lacks empathy, it's important to set boundaries to protect your own mental and emotional health. The Stoics believed in the importance of maintaining our own well-being and not allowing the negativity of others to disturb our peace. You have the right to distance yourself from those who drain your energy and bring you down. Another major sign of an evil person is manipulation. Manipulation occurs when someone uses deceit or cunning tactics to control or influence others to get what they want. It's a subtle, often insidious behavior that can be incredibly damaging to those on the receiving end. Manipulators are skilled at twisting situations, making you question your reality and bending your will to suit their needs. This can leave you feeling confused, powerless, and unsure of your own judgments. Let's think about manipulation from a Stoic perspective. The Stoics valued clarity of thought and the ability to see things as they truly are. They taught that our perceptions should be grounded in reality and that we should remain steadfast in our principles, no matter the external pressures. When someone manipulates you, they are attempting to cloud your perception and distort reality, making it difficult for you to stay true to these Stoic ideals. The common form of manipulation is gaslighting, where the manipulator tries to make you doubt your own memory, perception, or sanity. They might deny that certain events happened, or they might twist your words and actions to make you feel at fault. For example, let's say you confront a friend about something hurtful they said. Instead of acknowledging it, they might turn the tables, accusing you of being overly sensitive or misremembering the situation. This can erode your confidence and make you reliant on the manipulator's version of reality. Manipulators are also adept at playing the victim. They might guilt-trip you into doing things you don't want to do by making you feel responsible for their happiness or well-being. You might have a friend who constantly complains about their problems, expecting you to drop everything to help them, yet they are never there for you in return. They might say things like, "If you were really my friend, you'd do this for me," making you feel obligated to comply. The Stoics, especially Epictetus, emphasize the importance of understanding what is within our control and what is not. We cannot control others' actions or emotions, only our response to them. Consider how a manipulator might use flattery or charm to get their way. At first, this can feel great. They might shower you with compliments and make you feel special. But over time, you might notice that their praise comes with strings attached. They might compliment you when they want something from you, or when they need you to do something for them. This can make you feel like you owe them, or that you need to live up to their expectations to maintain their approval. The Stoics would remind us that true virtue and self-worth come from within, not from the fleeting approval of others. Manipulation can also take the form of isolation. A manipulative person might try to cut you off from your friends and family, making you more dependent on them. They might say things like, "Your friends don't really care about you," or "Your family doesn't understand you like I do." This tactic makes it easier for them to control you because you become more reliant on them for support and validation. The Stoics believed in maintaining strong, supportive relationships with others, recognizing that we are social beings who thrive in community. Isolation goes against these principles, as it weakens our support network and makes us more vulnerable to manipulation. Financial manipulation is another tactic used by evil people. They might borrow money, never repay it, or they might control your finances to limit your independence. For instance, a partner might insist on managing all the money in the relationship, making you ask for permission to spend anything. This control over finances can make it difficult for you to leave the relationship or assert your independence. The Stoics would encourage us to seek self-sufficiency and independence, ensuring that we are not unduly influenced or controlled by others. Recognizing manipulation for what it is can be challenging, especially when you care about the person involved. The Stoics teach us to be vigilant and discerning, to see things clearly and to act with integrity. If you suspect someone is manipulating you, take a step back and assess the situation objectively. Are they consistently prioritizing their needs over yours? Do they make you feel guilty or unsure of yourself? Are they trying to control aspects of your life or isolate you from others? It's important to set firm boundaries with manipulators and stand your ground. Communicate clearly and assertively about what you will and will not tolerate. Remember, you have the right to your own thoughts, feelings, and actions. The Stoics remind us that while we cannot control how others behave, we can control how we respond. By maintaining our inner strength and clarity, we can protect ourselves from the harmful effects of manipulation and stay true to our values. One of the most glaring signs of an evil person: controlling behavior. This goes beyond mere preferences or quirks. It's about someone who seeks to dominate every aspect of your life, leaving little room for your own autonomy and decisions. Controlling individuals often disguise their behavior as concern or care, but underneath, it's about power and control. The Stoics, who valued personal freedom and self-control, would see this behavior as fundamentally opposed to living a virtuous life. Controlling behavior can manifest in many ways. For instance, you might have a friend who insists on always choosing where you go and what you do together. While it might seem harmless at first, over time you start to realize that your preferences and opinions are consistently ignored or overridden. They might say things like, "I know what's best for us," or "You'll have more fun if you just listen to me." This isn't about mutual decision-making. It's about one person exerting their will over another. In relationships, controlling behavior can become even more dangerous. A partner might monitor your whereabouts, demand constant updates on your activities, and even dictate who you can and cannot see. They might go through your phone, check your messages, or insist on knowing all your passwords. This kind of surveillance and micromanagement can make you feel trapped and anxious, constantly walking on eggshells to avoid conflict. The Stoics, particularly Epictetus, emphasize the importance of maintaining your own inner freedom and autonomy, regardless of external pressures. Control can also come in the form of financial manipulation. A controlling partner or family member might take charge of all financial decisions, doling out money as they see fit, and keeping you financially dependent on them. They might say, "I handle the money because you're not good with finances." Or, "It's easier if I just take care of everything." This can strip you of your financial independence and make it difficult to leave the relationship or assert your own choices. The Stoics believed in self-sufficiency and managing your own resources wisely, viewing financial control as a form of enslavement that must be resisted. Another way controlling behavior shows up is through isolation. A controlling person might try to cut you off from friends and family, claiming that they're the only one who truly understands or cares about you. They might criticize your loved ones, saying things like, "Your friends don't really care about you," or "Your family is toxic." Over time, you might find yourself increasingly isolated, relying solely on the controlling person for support and companionship. The Stoics recognize the importance of community and supportive relationships, seeing isolation as detrimental to both personal growth and well-being. Controlling individuals also often use threats and intimidation to maintain their power. They might threaten to leave you, harm themselves, or even hurt you if you don't comply with their demands. This creates an environment of fear and anxiety, making it difficult to think clearly or make decisions that are best for you. The Stoics, especially Seneca, taught that we should face our fears and not allow others to intimidate us into submission. True courage and wisdom lie in standing firm against such threats and reclaiming our own power. It's important to understand that controlling behavior is about more than just wanting things done a certain way. It's about fundamentally undermining your ability to make your own choices and live your own life. The Stoics would advise us to recognize these behaviors for what they are: an attack on our autonomy and a violation of our personal freedom. By staying true to our values and maintaining our inner strength, we can resist the influence of controlling individuals and reclaim our right to live freely. If you find yourself dealing with someone who exhibits controlling behavior, it's crucial to set firm boundaries and assert your independence. Communicate clearly about your needs and limits, and don't be afraid to seek support from others who understand your situation. Remember, the Stoics teach us that we cannot control others, but we can control our own reactions and decisions. By staying grounded in our principles and valuing our own autonomy, we can protect ourselves from the harmful effects of controlling behavior and live more authentic, fulfilling lives. Another unmistakable sign of an evil person is pathological lying. This goes beyond the occasional white lie that most people tell. Pathological liars deceive constantly, often without any apparent reason. They fabricate stories, manipulate facts, and distort reality to suit their own needs or to gain an advantage over others. This behavior can be incredibly damaging to relationships, eroding trust and creating a web of deceit that's difficult to untangle. The Stoics valued truth and integrity above all else. They believed that a virtuous life was grounded in honesty and that deceit was a fundamental betrayal of one's character. Marcus Aurelius emphasized living in accordance with nature, which means aligning our actions with truth and reason. When someone lies pathologically, they are living in direct opposition to these principles, creating a false reality that benefits only themselves. Pathological lying can take many forms. It might start with small, seemingly harmless lies, like embellishing a story to make themselves look better or more interesting. Over time, these lies can escalate, covering up mistakes or wrongdoings and manipulating others to achieve their goals. A pathological liar might claim to have accomplished things they haven't, falsely take credit for others' work, or make up stories about their past to gain sympathy or admiration. This constant dishonesty creates a distorted view of reality where you can never be sure what's true and what's fabricated. Consider how a pathological liar might operate in a workplace. They might lie about their qualifications, exaggerate their contributions to projects, or spread false rumors about colleagues to sabotage them. This can create a toxic environment where trust is undermined and people are constantly on edge, unsure of who to believe. The Stoics would advise us to remain steadfast in our own integrity, not allowing ourselves to be swayed by the deceitful actions of others. Epictetus taught that we should focus on what we can control, our own thoughts and actions, and not be disturbed by the dishonesty of those around us. In personal relationships, pathological lying can be even more destructive. Imagine being in a relationship with someone who constantly lies about their whereabouts, their past, or their feelings. This behavior can make you feel insecure, anxious, and constantly questioning your own perceptions. You might find yourself doubting your memory or second-guessing your instincts, which is exactly what the liar wants. They thrive on creating confusion and instability, keeping you off balance so they can maintain control. The Stoics would remind us to trust our own judgment and not be swayed by the manipulations of others. Seneca taught that true peace comes from within, and that we should not allow the deceit of others to disturb our inner tranquility. One of the most insidious aspects of pathological lying is that it's often difficult to detect at first. Pathological liars can be incredibly convincing, telling their lies with such confidence and detail that it's hard not to believe them. They might mix truth with lies, making it even more challenging to discern what's real. This is where the Stoic principle of vigilance comes into play. We must remain observant and critical, not taking things at face value, but instead seeking the truth through careful consideration and evidence. When you catch someone in a lie, pay attention to how they react. Do they become defensive or aggressive? Do they try to turn the tables and blame you? Or do they offer a plausible explanation that seems to make sense, even if it's just another layer of deceit? A genuine person will admit to their mistakes and strive to correct them, while a pathological liar will double down on their falsehoods, weaving an even more intricate web of lies. The Stoics would counsel us to remain calm and rational in the face of such behavior, recognizing it for what it is and not allowing it to provoke us. It's also important to consider the long-term impact of pathological lying. Over time, it can erode the very foundation of trust that any relationship is built upon. Once trust is broken, it's incredibly difficult to rebuild. You might find yourself constantly suspicious, always wondering if you're being lied to again. This can lead to a toxic cycle of mistrust and resentment. The Stoics believed in the importance of building strong, honest relationships based on mutual respect and understanding. When dealing with a pathological liar, you must decide whether it's worth trying to rebuild that trust, or whether it's healthier to distance yourself from their toxic influence. If you find yourself entangled with a pathological liar, it's crucial to set firm boundaries and protect your own mental and emotional well-being. The Stoics would advise us to remain true to our own values and principles, not allowing ourselves to be dragged down by the deceit of others. Be clear about what you will and will not tolerate, and don't be afraid to walk away from a relationship or situation that is built on lies. Remember, your peace of mind and integrity are more important than maintaining a connection with someone who consistently deceives you. Now, how can you protect yourself from these harmful behaviors while maintaining your peace and integrity? Setting boundaries is one of the most crucial skills you can develop when dealing with difficult or toxic people. Boundaries are about defining what you will and will not accept in your relationships, and they are essential for protecting your mental, emotional, and even physical well-being. The Stoics, who emphasized the importance of personal integrity and inner peace, would see boundary setting as a fundamental practice for maintaining a virtuous and tranquil life. First and foremost, it's important to recognize that setting boundaries is not about being harsh or unkind. It's about respecting yourself and ensuring that others respect you as well. The Stoics believed in the importance of self-respect and living in harmony with our true nature. By setting clear boundaries, you are not only protecting yourself, but also fostering healthier interactions with others. When it comes to setting boundaries, clarity is key. You need to be specific about what behaviors you will not tolerate and communicate this clearly and assertively. For example, if you have a friend who frequently belittles you or puts you down, you might say, "I appreciate our friendship, but I won't tolerate being spoken to in a disrespectful manner. If this continues, I will have to distance myself." This approach is direct and leaves no room for misinterpretation. According to Stoic principles, this kind of clear communication helps maintain order and respect in relationships. Another important aspect of setting boundaries is consistency. It's not enough to state your boundaries once and expect others to adhere to them without reminders. You must consistently enforce your boundaries, even when it's uncomfortable or difficult. The Stoics, particularly Epictetus, emphasized the importance of discipline and perseverance. By consistently upholding your boundaries, you demonstrate self-respect and teach others how to treat you. If someone repeatedly crosses your boundaries, it's a clear sign that they do not respect you or your limits, and it may be necessary to reassess the relationship. It's also important to remember that setting boundaries is not a one-time event, but an ongoing process. As relationships evolve, your boundaries may need to be adjusted. For instance, in a work environment, you might need to set boundaries around your availability and workload to prevent burnout. You could say to a colleague or supervisor, "I am happy to help with this project, but I cannot take on additional tasks beyond my current responsibilities." The Stoics would advise us to balance our duties and not overextend ourselves to the detriment of our well-being. One of the most challenging aspects of setting boundaries is dealing with the pushback or resistance you might encounter. People who are used to getting their way, especially those with controlling or manipulative tendencies, may not take kindly to your newfound assertiveness. They might react with anger, guilt-tripping, or even attempts to undermine your confidence. The Stoics teach us to remain calm and steadfast in the face of such challenges. Marcus Aurelius wrote about the importance of maintaining our composure and not being swayed by the negative emotions of others. When you encounter resistance, stay firm and remind yourself that your boundaries are necessary for your well-being. In some cases, setting boundaries might mean making difficult decisions, such as distancing yourself from certain individuals or even ending relationships that are toxic or harmful. This can be a painful process, but it's essential for preserving your mental and emotional health. The Stoics would remind us that our primary responsibility is to our own virtue and well-being. Seneca often spoke about the importance of choosing our associations wisely, recognizing that the company we keep can significantly impact our character and happiness. By distancing yourself from those who consistently violate your boundaries, you are making a powerful statement about your self-worth and commitment to living a virtuous life. It's also helpful to seek support from others when setting boundaries. This could mean talking to trusted friends, family members, or a therapist about your experiences and getting their input and encouragement. Sharing your struggles and successes with boundary setting can provide you with valuable perspective and strengthen your resolve. The Stoics valued community and the support of like-minded individuals. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the interconnectedness of humanity and the importance of mutual support. By leaning on your support network, you can find the strength to uphold your boundaries and maintain your well-being. Change feels like one of those big, intimidating mountains to climb. We're all looking for the shortcut, the quick fix that will change everything in an instant. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that transformation has to happen overnight, that we need to take dramatic leaps or make drastic changes in order to see real progress. I get it. I've been there. You set a goal and at first the excitement is there. The motivation feels like a fire, ready to burn through anything in its way. But after a few days, that fire dims and suddenly the whole thing feels too big, too overwhelming, so you stop. But what if I told you that the key to real, lasting change isn't in the grand gestures, but in the tiny, consistent steps? What if the transformation you're looking for was never meant to be a giant leap, but a series of small steps, taken day by day, that build on each other? That's the power of incremental change. It's easy to dismiss small actions as meaningless or too insignificant to make a difference, but it's these very actions that over time compound and create real progress. The first step starts with realizing that real change doesn't happen overnight. It's not about perfection, it's about progression. 7 days might seem like a small amount of time, but it's enough to create the foundation for something greater. In this video, you'll see how simple daily actions, things you can start today, can begin shaping your future self. By the end of the week, you'll begin to notice the shift in your mindset, your energy, and your clarity. Are you ready to see what's possible in just 7 days? Before we begin, please subscribe and tap the notification bell so you never miss out on more amazing videos like this. Let's get started. Micro-learning, making informal learning a daily routine. Staying sharp in today's world feels like a constant battle. We're bombarded by distractions at every turn, social media notifications, the never-ending stream of news, the constant pull of entertainment. It's hard to keep up with everything, let alone take the time to focus on something that truly expands our knowledge. Our attention spans are shorter, our minds pulled in a million directions. And yet, we all know the value of learning, of growing, evolving, and staying curious. But how? How do we make room for that in a world that seems to move faster than we can keep up? That's where the idea of micro-learning comes in. Microlearning isn't about diving into textbooks or dedicating hours of your day to study. It's about small, bite-sized chunks of knowledge that you can consume daily in the midst of your busy life. We all know that we can't always sit down for an hour-long lecture or spend an entire afternoon reading a book. But what if, instead, you dedicated just 5 to 10 minutes every day to learning something new? You could watch a short video on YouTube about a topic that interests you, listen to a podcast during your morning commute, or read an article while you wait for your coffee. The key is to seek out small, digestible pieces of information that spark your curiosity. This habit doesn't require a huge commitment. It's about building a routine that keeps your mind engaged and open to new ideas. Pick something that piques your interest, whether it's learning about a historical event, discovering new productivity techniques, or exploring a completely new skill. The beauty of micro-learning is its flexibility. You can make it fit into your day, no matter how busy you are. Maybe you listen to a podcast on your lunch break, or watch a quick YouTube video while you unwind in the evening. It doesn't matter when or how long, as long as you make it a regular part of your routine. What does this do for you? Well, aside from keeping your mind sharp, it expands your worldview. It helps you see things from new perspectives, fueling your curiosity and sparking ideas you never would have had otherwise. In a world that often feels overwhelming, microlearning is a powerful tool to stay adaptable and engaged. It's the perfect antidote to mental fatigue because it doesn't require long hours of focus. It's just a few minutes a day, but those minutes add up, building a steady rhythm of growth. Think about it. Over a week, a month, or even a year, those small pieces of knowledge start to accumulate. Suddenly, you're more well-read, more knowledgeable, and more confident in your ability to adapt to change. Even when life feels like it's moving at full speed, micro-learning gives you a chance to catch your breath and keep growing, one small step at a time. And that's the magic of it. When you embrace this habit, you're not just learning facts, you're building a mindset of curiosity and resilience. In a world that constantly demands more of us, micro-learning helps us stay present and evolve without feeling overwhelmed. So, what can you learn today? What's something you've always wanted to explore but never had the time for? Take a few minutes today to dive into that and see how it feels. You'll be surprised by how much it enriches your life and sharpens your mind, one small piece at a time. The key is consistency, and in just 7 days, you'll find that those small steps are already starting to lay the foundation for a more curious, adaptable, and well-informed version of yourself. Embrace the warrior mentality. There's a strange, almost magnetic pull toward comfort, isn't there? We all crave ease, whether it's lounging on the couch after a long day, choosing the path of least resistance, or avoiding those things that make us uncomfortable. And yet, it's when we face discomfort that growth begins. But let's be honest, discomfort feels hard. Whether it's physical, mental, or emotional, it's easy to back away when we feel weak or overwhelmed. Our minds start to convince us that we're not ready, that we're not strong enough. We tell ourselves, I'll do it tomorrow, and in that moment we choose comfort over growth. But what if there was another way? Let's take a look at the warrior mentality. Imagine waking up each day with the mindset of someone who thrives in discomfort. Not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. The warrior doesn't run from difficulty. They face it head-on, knowing that every obstacle is an opportunity to grow stronger. The warrior trains their mind to embrace the struggle because they understand that only by pushing beyond their limits can they discover their true potential. This is the mentality that separates those who stay stagnant from those who constantly evolve. It's not about having the best circumstances, it's about having the strength to thrive no matter what the circumstances are. And you can cultivate this strength, one step at a time. For the next 7 days, challenge yourself to take on something difficult, something that makes you uncomfortable. It doesn't have to be the hardest thing you've ever done. The key is to push yourself just beyond your current limits. Maybe you wake up 30 minutes earlier than usual, forcing yourself to start the day with focus and purpose. Perhaps it's committing to a workout that pushes your physical boundaries, or tackling a difficult conversation you've been avoiding. It could even be choosing to sit with your emotions, facing them head-on instead of numbing or running from them. Whatever it is, make it deliberate. Make it a small, actionable step toward embracing discomfort every single day. This practice isn't about being reckless or forcing yourself to endure unnecessary pain. It's about understanding that true growth lies in that space just beyond your comfort zone. Every time you choose to face discomfort, you're building resilience, muscle for the mind and body. The warrior knows that discomfort isn't the enemy, it's the forge where strength is made. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, knew this well. He believed that endurance, the ability to withstand difficulty, was a cornerstone of growth. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This isn't just a quote, it's a philosophy that teaches us to embrace what challenges us, because it's these very challenges that shape our character. So, as you move through this week, remember that every obstacle is a chance to train your mind, harden your spirit, and grow stronger. The discomfort you face is not a signal to stop. It's a sign that you're on the right path. Each time you lean into that discomfort, you're building the resilience that will carry you through anything life throws your way. At the end of the week, you'll look back not just on the hard things you've done, but on the person you've become in the process. Strength is forged in discomfort. The warrior mentality isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. one step at a time. And as you do, you'll find yourself more prepared for whatever challenges lie ahead, knowing that you are capable of much more than you ever imagined. Build discipline through daily practice. We've all been there, dreaming big, setting lofty goals, and imagining the incredible results we want to see. We get excited, ready to jump in and make a change, but then the hard truth sets in. Results don't happen overnight. The idea of instant transformation, of suddenly being great at something, feels enticing, but it's far from realistic. We want to skip past the struggle and get straight to the end where success is waiting. But facing reality is realizing that success doesn't come from shortcuts. It comes from consistent, daily effort. It comes from the discipline to keep showing up, even when you don't feel like it. Discipline is the key that unlocks all the potential you've been hoping to tap into. I'll give you an example. Think of someone who seems naturally gifted at something. Maybe they're a musician, an athlete, or even a writer. It's easy to assume they were born with that talent. But the truth is, talent only gets you so far. The real difference between those who succeed and those who don't is the commitment to consistent practice. I remember hearing about a musician who was far from the most naturally talented in his class. He didn't have the natural ease others seemed to possess. But what he had was discipline. He practiced relentlessly, every single day. Over time, his commitment turned what seemed like an insurmountable challenge into second nature. The truth is, discipline trumps talent every time. It's the muscle that turns raw potential into results. For the next 7 days, I challenge you to choose one area of your life, whether it's a skill you want to develop, a fitness goal you want to achieve, or a personal habit you want to strengthen, and practice it daily, whether it's 10 minutes or an hour. Make it a non-negotiable part of your routine. It's not about doing it perfectly. It's about showing up and doing the work, even when you don't feel like it. Over the week, you'll start to see the compound effect of your efforts. Small actions, repeated consistently, begin to add up. What seemed like a slow, insignificant effort at first will snowball into something powerful. You'll start to notice improvements in your skill, your focus, and your confidence. That's the beauty of discipline. It doesn't require perfection, only persistence. But discipline isn't just about achieving external results. It's about building character. Every time you choose to practice, you're not just getting better at your chosen skill. You're growing as a person. You're teaching yourself the value of persistence, the power of consistency, and the strength that comes from pushing through resistance. It's a reminder that growth is a process, and perfection is an illusion. You don't need to be perfect to improve. You don't need to get it right every time. What matters is that you show up again and again, trusting that each practice session is a step closer to mastery. Discipline isn't about being the best right now. It's about becoming better than you were yesterday. And when you take that approach, the results will follow naturally and steadily. So let go of the expectation of instant success and embrace the process. The results are inevitable when you commit to the work. Discipline, after all, is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Organize your space for greater clarity and productivity. Clutter has a way of creeping into our lives, doesn't it? Whether it's piles of paper on our desks, a chaotic inbox, or a cluttered mind that can't focus for more than a few minutes, the mess adds up. At first it seems harmless, just one more thing to deal with later. But over time, the clutter starts to weigh on us. It distracts us, makes it harder to think clearly, and drains our energy. You've probably experienced this. The more cluttered things get, the more overwhelmed you feel. Your mind mirrors the mess around you, constantly distracted and clouded, making it harder to focus and be productive. It's as if the physical mess outside reflects an internal state of disorganization. So, how do we break free from this constant feeling of overwhelm? The key lies in organizing your environment. The simple act of clearing clutter can do wonders for your mental clarity. When your space is clean, everything becomes easier. You can find what you need quickly. Your mind feels less chaotic. The energy in the room shifts. A tidy space creates room for better thinking. It's no coincidence that when we feel productive, our surroundings tend to be more organized. A well-kept space isn't just about appearances, it's about functionality. It's about reducing distractions so your mind can focus on what truly matters. Organizing your environment isn't just about creating an aesthetically pleasing space. It's about giving yourself the mental clarity to think more clearly, to work with focus, and to live with intention. I'd love to challenge you this coming week to spend just 5-10 minutes a day decluttering or organizing one space in your life. Maybe start with your desk. Clear off papers, organize your files, and give yourself a clean slate to work with. Or tackle your digital space, sort through your emails, delete files you no longer need, and organize your digital folders. Pick one small area each day, and as you declutter, notice how it makes you feel. At first, it might seem like a small, insignificant effort, but as you continue this habit each day, you'll start to see the cumulative impact. Each small act of tidying up creates more room for focus, creativity, and productivity. It's the compound effect of creating an environment where clarity can thrive. As you clear the physical clutter, take a moment to reflect on how it affects your mental state. A clean space doesn't just help you be more productive, it helps you think more clearly. It creates the mental space to focus on what's important. Just like how decluttering a room makes it easier to find what you need, organizing your thoughts and priorities becomes much easier when your environment is clean and intentional. When you make room in your surroundings, you make room in your mind. The less cluttered your environment, the more space you have to focus on your goals, your passions, and your growth. So take the first step. Start with one area today. The small wins will build up, and soon you'll realize that by organizing your space, you've also organized your mind. A clean environment isn't just about external order. It's about creating the mental clarity that leads to true productivity and peace of mind. Exercise to boost body and mind. We've all been there. The gym membership, the workout routine, the motivation that comes in waves and quickly fades. At first, we're determined to make fitness a priority. We set goals, buy the gear, and start off strong. But then, somewhere along the way, it starts to feel like a chore. The motivation wanes and working out feels like something we have to do rather than something we want to do. It's easy to get caught up in the cycle of pushing through just to check the box, but deep down we know it's not working. Exercise starts to feel like a burden rather than a gift. So, what if we could change that? What if we could see exercise not just as a physical obligation, but as an opportunity to elevate not only our bodies, but also our minds? Exercise is far more than just a way to stay in shape. It's a powerful tool for mental and emotional well-being. When you move your body, you do more than burn calories and build strength. You're improving your mood, reducing stress, and sharpening your mind. Studies show that regular physical activity boosts brain function, improves memory, and helps with emotional regulation. It's like a reset button for your mind. The endorphins released during exercise can lift your mood, calm your nerves, and increase your sense of focus and clarity. Exercise isn't just about looking better, it's about feeling better, inside and out. It's a connection that many overlook, but when you begin to experience it for yourself, it becomes impossible to ignore. A workout can be the reset your mind needs to tackle life's challenges with resilience and focus. For the next week, commit to starting with just 10 minutes of exercise each day. Keep it simple and achievable. Consistency is more important than intensity right now. Maybe you start with a brisk walk, some body weight exercises like push-ups or squats, or even a quick yoga session. The goal is not to push your limits right away, but to show up every day. Get your body moving, even if it's just for a short time. As you build this habit, try mixing it up to avoid the monotony of doing the same thing every day. Try a new workout style, explore a different activity, or challenge yourself in a new way. The key here is consistency. Don't worry about making it perfect, just commit to doing it daily. Over time, those 10 minutes will feel less like a task and more like a vital part of your routine. As you continue to exercise, think about the bigger picture. Each time you push yourself physically, you're also pushing yourself mentally and emotionally. Exercise builds resilience. It's not just about physical endurance. It's about learning how to push through discomfort, to show up even when you don't feel like it, and to grow through challenges. That moment when you feel like you can't go any further, whether you're running, lifting weights, or stretching, can teach you more about yourself than any other task. The mental toughness you develop in these moments carries over into other areas of life. You learn that you can handle more than you thought. You learn to sit with discomfort, knowing that it's temporary and that growth often comes from pushing beyond what you thought were your limits. So, as you commit to these daily workouts, remember that you're not just training your body. You're strengthening your mind, your emotions, and your resilience. Exercise isn't just physical. It's a tool for becoming the best version of yourself. When you show up for your body, you're also showing up for your mental and emotional growth. The power of small habits. As we reflect on the past week, it's easy to see that small, intentional actions add up in ways we don't always notice at first. Whether it was dedicating a few minutes each day to learning something new, embracing discomfort to build resilience, committing to daily practice, organizing your space for clarity, or incorporating exercise to strengthen both body and mind, each of these habits has laid the groundwork for something bigger. The key takeaway here is simple. 7 days, while short, is more than enough to get the ball rolling. It's the start of a journey, not the end. These small habits are like seeds that, with consistency, will grow into something meaningful and life-changing. But don't stop here. As you continue to integrate these habits into your routine, you'll begin to notice not just changes in the external world around you, but internal shifts as well. Each day you show up for yourself. Each time you decide to practice discipline, push through discomfort, or make space for growth, you're creating momentum. The beauty of momentum is that once it's in motion, it becomes easier to keep going. Each step forward builds on the one before, creating a ripple effect of change. It's not about achieving perfection or expecting instant results. It's about committing to the process, trusting that each small action compounds over time, leading to lasting transformation. Change, as we know, is rarely immediate, and it's certainly not always linear. But every day you put in the effort, you're reinforcing the foundation of a better version of yourself. The work you put in now is what will pay off in the future. So, keep going. What is the secret to greatness? I can tell you what it's not. It's not doing nothing. It's not waiting around for a lottery ticket. It's definitely not blaming the world, because blaming the world won't change anything. So what is it? We're going to explain that secret in this video in 5 steps that you can follow right at home. But we didn't discover this. 2,000 years ago, the Stoics did. What they invented and developed was so powerful that it made believers of people as different as Roman emperors and slaves. The world may have changed since then, but the psychological truths that push people to greatness have not. Now, I can't tell you what it takes to achieve greatness in 30 seconds. That's what this video is for. But I can give you a summary of what they found. Our power doesn't lie in controlling the things that happen. It can't, because we can't. Our power lies in mastering our response to the things that happen to us and the circumstances that we can change. And if you can learn to do that, you have solved the problem. Greatness is yours. But not me. It won't work for me. I can hear some of you saying, things never work out for me. My situation is different. I'm here to tell you that it will work for you, if you try. I'm going to give you a plan that will get you there, and here it is in outline form. First, you must focus. Second, you must change your thoughts to change your reality. Third, you must work to achieve a flow state in your life. Fourth, you must act according to your values. Fifth, you must make the world your arena. The most important of these is the first one. Focus. Above all and above everything else, you must focus. The great Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "To be everywhere is to be nowhere." What this means is that when we spread our attention across too many things simultaneously, we aren't present or effective with any of them. Seneca is warning us that multitasking and constant distraction prevent deep engagement. It was true in his time, and it's true in ours. In modern life, when our attention jumps between emails, social media, work tasks, and conversations, we experience only the surface of each without making a meaningful impact. True effectiveness comes from being fully present with one thing at a time. A mind that tries to be everywhere, attending to many tasks at once, ends up being nowhere, not fully engaged with anything. This connects with modern research showing that multitasking reduces cognitive performance and depth of thought. Seneca, in other words, recognized that scattered attention leads to scattered results. You may appear busy, but you accomplish little of significance, and what matters in the world we live in is results. The Stoic approach values depth over breadth, because that's what gets results. Computer science professor Cal Newport calls the ability to focus without distraction deep work, defining it as professional activities performed in a state of distraction-free concentration that push your cognitive capabilities to their limit. This modern concept mirrors what the Stoics practiced as mental discipline. While Newport's research demonstrates that deep work is profitable in today's economy, the Stoics would argue it's always been essential for a well-lived life. The evidence against multitasking keeps building. Research from Stanford University shows that heavy multitaskers perform worse on cognitive control tests and struggle more with filtering relevant information. Each time we switch tasks, we pay what Newport calls an attention residue tax. Up to 40% of our productive capacity is lost in transitions. So it follows that if you stay focused, you'll be up to 40% more effective. How can we reclaim our focus in a world designed to fragment it? Here are practical techniques you can follow to do deep work. Begin with morning intention setting, a practice Marcus Aurelius followed religiously. Before emails and notifications, decide what deserves your deepest attention today. Create distraction-free environments by eliminating what Newport calls shallow work triggers. Silence notifications, close unnecessary tabs, and establish boundaries before you begin to save time. Practice mindful transitions between activities. Rather than immediately jumping between tasks, pause briefly to reset your attention, what Epictetus might call preparing the mind for the work at hand. By preparing yourself in this way, you'll set yourself up for success. True greatness in work and character emerges from the discipline of focused attention. But focus alone isn't enough. Once you've mastered your attention, you must direct it toward the right thoughts. This brings us to our second principle, changing your thoughts to change your reality. The Stoics understood that our perceptions shape our experience more profoundly than external circumstances. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." This insight, that we can transform our reality by transforming our thinking, forms the foundation of what we call cognitive behavioral stoicism, the deliberate practice of regulating your thoughts to improve your life. The practice is straightforward. Whenever you enter a thought spiral, apply the Stoic test. Ask yourself, is this within my control? If the answer is no, practice acceptance. If it's yes, channel your energy toward constructive action instead of rumination. There's a modern psychological technique with a similar orientation called CBT, short for cognitive behavioral therapy. It's a psychotherapy approach that focuses on identifying and changing unhelpful thinking patterns and behaviors. The premise of CBT is that our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are interconnected, meaning that negative patterns in any of these areas can create and maintain psychological distress. To fix ourselves, we must fix those patterns by focusing on them. CBT helps people develop more helpful ways of thinking and behaving. Here's an example. When something bad happens, most people fall into destructive thought patterns. This always happens to me. Everything is ruined. I can't handle this. The Stoics recognized these as false impressions, judgments that we add to neutral events. If we add them, that means we can also stop adding them. Epictetus taught that it's not what happens to you, but how you respond to it that matters. Consider how differently your day unfolds when you view challenges as opportunities rather than obstacles. This creates a feedback loop of empowerment. When you reframe negative thoughts, Your emotional responses shift, your actions become more effective, your outcomes improve. Modern cognitive behavioral Stoicism has rediscovered what the Stoics knew. We can question our automatic thoughts and choose more rational interpretations. When we do this, we free ourselves from unnecessary suffering and expand our potential. When we are at our maximum potential, we tend to be in a state of flow, and that leads us to our third principle. You learn to creating the conditions to achieve that flow state. The Stoics understood that true productivity comes from deep and purposeful engagement. This ancient wisdom is backed up by psychologist Mihai Csikszentmihalyi's concept of flow, that optimal state where we're so immersed in a challenging activity that time seems to disappear. Flow represents the perfect balance between skill and challenge. When a task is too difficult, we feel anxiety. When it's too easy, we experience boredom. But in that sweet spot, where our abilities are stretched but not overwhelmed, we achieve a state the Stoics would recognize as ideal functioning. Seneca's advice to be present where you are anticipates Csikszentmihalyi's research by millennia. Both recognize that divided attention prevents the deep engagement necessary for excellence. Modern research confirms this ancient insight. Flow states correlate with peak performance in everything from athletics to artistic creation. The Stoic discipline of focusing solely on what's in your control is echoed by a key prerequisite for flow: clear goals with immediate feedback. By eliminating distractions, we create the conditions for flow to emerge. Epictetus taught that we should approach each task as if it were our last, bringing full attention to the present moment. This Stoic principle of mindful presence is exactly what Csikszentmihalyi observed in people experiencing flow. Complete absorption in the activity itself, not the results. To cultivate flow in your life, identify your flow triggers, those activities where you lose track of time. Structure your environment to eliminate distractions during these periods. Set clear goals with measurable progress markers. Practice the Stoic technique of premeditatio malorum, anticipating challenges to prepare for potential obstacles before you begin. The Stoics knew that meaningful accomplishment comes not from scattered effort but from focused mastery. In flow theory, we find scientific validation of this ancient idea. Our greatest satisfaction comes when we are fully engaged in meaningful challenges that stretch our capabilities. But what should guide these challenges? What direction should our focused energy take? This brings us to our fourth principle. You must act according to your values. The Stoics believed that true greatness arises from how we live our lives. This is the essence of values-based living, aligning your actions with your highest principles, no matter the circumstance. What matters most is how well you walk through the fire. As the writer Charles Bukowski put it, fortune is fickle, but character is enduring. When you act according to your values rather than impulse or external pressure, you build an unshakable foundation. At the heart of Stoic ethics are the four cardinal virtues: wisdom, courage, justice, temperance. Wisdom means practical judgment, knowing what to do, when to do it, and why it matters. It's distinguishing between what you can and cannot control, then focusing your energy accordingly. Wisdom is learning from every experience, especially failures, which the Stoics saw as powerful teachers. Courage means facing challenges without being paralyzed by fear. Not fearlessness, but acting despite fear when values demand it. As Seneca noted, sometimes even to live is an act of courage. This virtue enables you to bear hardship and to speak the truth, even when silence would be easier. Justice extends beyond legality to treating others with fairness and respect. It recognizes our shared humanity and responsibilities to one another. Marcus Aurelius emphasized this interconnection. What benefits the hive benefits the bee. Justice is seeing that your well-being is shared with others. Temperance is balanced self-discipline, not indulgence, but also not denial. It means moderation. It's mastering your desires rather than being mastered by them. Temperance creates the space between stimulus and response, where wisdom can breathe. The path to greatness requires more than good intentions. It demands that your actions consistently reflect your values, especially when doing so is difficult. As Epictetus taught, Don't explain your philosophy, embody it. This brings us to our fifth and final principle. You must make the world your arena. Making the world your arena means transforming everyday environments into spaces of practice and growth where you can succeed. And to do that, before you can do anything else, you must first get out there. You must go into the world and try. That's the idea behind the do things badly principle. It cures perfectionism paralysis. Begin by giving yourself permission to perform poorly. Write the terrible first draft. Have the awkward conversation. Attempt the imperfect workout. Excellence emerges not from planning but from iteration. As writer Anne Lamott advocates, almost all good writing begins with terrible first efforts. It's a universal principle. You begin badly, then get better. If it helps, you can use a strategy we call if-then statements. Rather than saying, I'll exercise more, commit to, when I wake up on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'll put on my running shoes and jog for 20 minutes. Research by psychologist Peter Gallwitzer shows that this approach dramatically increases follow-through by linking specific situations to the behaviors you want to see. If you need more help, consider using the 5-minute rule. Commit to just 5 minutes of the challenging activity. A minimal commitment bypasses psychological resistance and helps get you started. Once begun, continuation becomes easier thanks to your momentum. 5 minutes often becomes a full session of your intended activity. When you put all these strategies together, you end up establishing practical approaches as habits. Go outside your designated spaces to make the entire world the place where you practice. That's how you get started on the path to greatness. At the top of this video, we began by asking, what is the secret to greatness? Now you know. It's not some mysterious formula reserved for the lucky few. It's a practical, proven path that anyone can follow. Let these 5 Stoic principles, focus, thought management, flow, values-based action, and making the world your arena, be your framework for transformation, your path to stepping into greatness. When you master your focus, you gain the ability to direct your attention where it matters most. By changing your thoughts, you reshape your reality. Through flow, you tap into your highest potential. By acting according to your values, you build unshakable character. And by making the world your arena, you turn philosophy into practice, creating meaningful change in your life and the lives of others. Remember, greatness isn't about perfection, it's about progression. The Stoics understood that we're all works in progress. Every day presents new opportunities to apply these principles, to stumble, to learn, and to grow stronger throughout the process. As Marcus Aurelius reminded himself each morning, when you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. So begin today. Start badly if you must, but start. Focus your attention on what truly matters. Challenge your limiting thoughts. Find your flow. Live your values. Make every environment you move through an arena for practicing these timeless principles. The path to greatness lies before you. Now, it's your turn to take that first step. Some of the most difficult battles we face are the ones inside our own minds. The battles against doubt, fear, frustration, and sometimes even despair. Life throws challenges at us, often without warning, and how we respond to these challenges can define everything. Now, picture this. What if you had a mindset so unshakable, so resilient, that no obstacle could truly stand in your way? That's the kind of strength the Stoics dedicated their lives to developing. A mindset that can overcome anything because it's grounded in the unbreakable principles of wisdom, courage, and self-control. Today, we're diving into the wisdom of the Stoics, not as some ancient philosophy locked in the past, but as a practical toolkit that's just as relevant today as it was 2,000 years ago. These are the lessons that have empowered people for centuries, from emperors to soldiers, and continue to guide millions. If you've ever felt like life is pulling you down, or if you're simply looking to build mental armor that can withstand any storm, stay tuned. By the end of this video, you'll have a blueprint for transforming your mindset, a way to build a mental fortress so that no matter what comes your way, you stand firm. So, if you appreciate what we're doing here and want to support the channel, a simple free favor you can do is hit that subscribe button and make sure not to skip any part of the video to fully grasp the transformative insights we're about to explore together. Let's get started. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to test your virtues, whether it's patience when you're stuck in traffic, resilience when you're dealing with loss, or courage when you're facing fears. The Stoics believed that it's not what happens to you, but how you respond that matters. This mindset transforms obstacles into stepping stones on the path to self-mastery. Now let's get practical. How can we truly embrace challenges? It starts with perception. Instead of viewing difficulties as impediments, see them as instruments for personal development. When something goes wrong, ask yourself, what can this teach me? This shift in perspective isn't just about finding silver linings, but about forging a robust character that thrives under pressure. Moreover, embracing challenges means staying present and engaged, not detached or indifferent. It involves an active engagement with whatever life throws your way, handling it with a calm mind and a focus on what can be controlled. Remember, the goal of Stoicism is not to diminish your emotions, but to channel them in a way that serves you and your community better. This Stoic approach doesn't promise an easy life. Instead, it offers a meaningful one. By consistently applying these principles, you'll find that you're not only capable of withstanding adversity, but also capable of flourishing because of it. Every challenge becomes a chance to demonstrate virtue and build resilience. So next time you find yourself in a tough situation, remember, it's not just a hurdle, it's an invitation to grow stronger and wiser. This principle teaches us that true wealth comes not from external possessions, but from the richness of our ideas and the strength of our character. Stoicism encourages us to shift our focus from acquiring material wealth, which is transient and often beyond our control, to developing robust, transformative ideas that can endure and truly impact the world. Think about it. The most influential people throughout history were not necessarily those with the most financial wealth, but those who offered groundbreaking ideas that reshaped society. From the philosophical insights of Marcus Aurelius to the innovative visions of modern thinkers and leaders, the real currency they dealt with was ideas. So how can we harness this power in our own lives? It starts with nurturing a mindset that values creativity and critical thinking over mere consumption. Stoicism prompts us to ask ourselves, are we merely accumulating things that will fade, or are we developing insights that will last? This isn't to say that money and resources aren't important. They are tools that can be used wisely, but they shouldn't be the end goal. Our aim should be to create and contribute, to think deeply about problems, and to come up with solutions that do more than just serve ourselves. Moreover, embracing the Stoic value of ideas over wealth involves understanding that personal growth and societal contribution are far more rewarding than material success. This perspective not only enriches our own lives, but also makes us valuable to others by fostering a culture of thought leadership and innovation. We can inspire those around us to also look beyond the superficial trappings of wealth and consider the lasting impact of their thoughts and actions. In a world increasingly driven by materialism, the Stoic focus on ideas over wealth is a refreshing call to refocus on what truly matters. It challenges us to be thinkers, innovators, and philosophers in our own right, to build legacies of wisdom rather than just wealth. The Stoics teach us that while we can't control external events, we can control our reactions and actions, shaping our own destinies through deliberate choices and purposeful living. This is not about forging a path in defiance of the world, but rather crafting a life that aligns with our deepest values and virtues. So, how do we start creating our own path? It begins with self-awareness. Stoicism encourages us to examine our lives critically and to question societal norms that might not resonate with our inner truth. Are we following a career or lifestyle because it's what's expected of us, or because it genuinely fulfills us? By reflecting on these questions, we can begin to carve out a life path that truly reflects who we are and what we believe in. Once we have a clearer sense of direction, the next step is to take action. Creating your own path requires courage. the courage to make unconventional choices, to step away from the beaten track, and to withstand the uncertainty and criticism that might come with such decisions. Stoicism equips us with the mental fortitude to handle these challenges by reminding us that our worth is defined by our actions and character, not by external approval or success. Additionally, creating your own path means embracing the concept of lifelong learning and adaptation. Stoics like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius were proponents of ongoing self-improvement and adaptability. They believed that a wise person is always prepared to adjust their course and learn from their experiences. This adaptable approach is crucial in a world that is constantly changing. It encourages us to remain open and responsive to new information and experiences, ensuring that our path remains relevant and aligned with our growth. Lastly, creating your own path isn't just about personal ambition. It's about contributing to society in a meaningful way. Stoicism teaches us to look beyond our individual desires and consider how our actions affect others. By choosing a path that contributes positively to those around us, we fulfill the Stoic ideal of living harmoniously within our community and the broader world. This interconnected perspective ensures that our path is not only self-fulfilling, but also socially responsible. Change is inevitable. Change is also the principle of life. That means that everything that is alive will change, and even things that are not alive will change. Stoics understand that change is the only constant in life, and they teach us to embrace it, not just passively, but actively. They encourage us to mold and be molded by the changes that come our way, ensuring our growth and refinement through every experience. The Stoic approach to change is rooted in the dichotomy of control, a fundamental concept introduced by Epictetus. It reminds us to differentiate between what we can control, our actions, responses, and judgments, and what we cannot, such as the actions of others, the past, and much of the external world. By focusing our energy on our own sphere of influence, we become more effective and serene. This perspective equips us with a mental framework for adapting to change by reducing anxiety over the uncontrollable and empowering us to act where we can. Moreover, adapting to change means maintaining an internal steadiness despite external fluctuations. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, advised us to be like a rocky promontory against which the waves constantly break. It stands firm while the turmoil of the sea falls still around it. This image is a powerful metaphor for Stoic resilience, the ability to maintain composure and clarity of judgment no matter how stormy life gets. This stability doesn't come from rigidity but from a deep understanding of and engagement with the natural flow of life. Practically, adapting to change involves continual self-assessment and adjustment. Stoicism promotes an ongoing dialogue with oneself, a kind of internal audit on how we are responding to daily changes and challenges. Are we reacting emotionally or are we responding thoughtfully? Are our actions consistent with our values? This reflective practice not only helps in managing immediate changes, but also in anticipating and preparing for future ones. Adapting to change in a Stoic sense means viewing each new circumstance as an opportunity for development. Every change, whether perceived as positive or negative, brings lessons and chances to refine our virtues, such as wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. For instance, a sudden hardship might provide an opportunity to practice fortitude and compassion, while an unexpected success might test and strengthen our humility and generosity. This isn't about making rigid plans that resist change, but rather about setting a course guided by our deepest values and virtues, ensuring that each step we take is intentional and meaningful. The Stoics often spoke about the importance of living with a purpose that transcends daily fluctuations and distraction. They argued that without a clear long-term vision, we are at the mercy of external events and impulses, tossed about like a ship without a rudder. A well-defined vision acts as this rudder, helping us navigate life's complex waters with direction and foresight. In practical terms, developing a long-term vision involves reflecting on what truly matters to us, what we value most in life, what kind of person we wish to become, and how we can contribute to the world around us. This vision should be resilient, capable of adapting to changes without losing sight of the overarching goals. For example, you might envision yourself as a lifelong learner, committed to personal growth and the betterment of society. How this manifests might change with circumstances, perhaps through career shifts, evolving relationships, or changing social contexts, but the core vision remains constant. Moreover, a Stoic approach to long-term vision involves preparing mentally for both success and setbacks. It teaches us to anticipate obstacles and view them as natural parts of the journey. This preparation is not pessimistic, but rather a form of realistic optimism. By considering potential challenges and visualizing how to handle them, we strengthen our resolve and flexibility, making us better equipped to persist toward our vision, no matter what life throws our way. Stoicism also emphasizes the importance of aligning our vision with actions that are under our control. It's not enough to simply dream or plan. We must also take concrete, consistent steps toward realizing our vision. This means setting manageable goals, reflecting on our daily habits, and continuously adjusting our strategies to stay aligned with our long-term aspirations. Each small action should be seen as a building block toward a larger purpose, imbued with meaning and direction. Developing a long-term vision, in a Stoic sense, means embracing the journey as much as the destination. The true value of this vision lies not just in achieving specific goals, but in the growth and insights we gain along the way. Stoicism teaches us to value each moment and challenge as part of our overall development, reminding us that the path to fulfilling our vision is just as important as the end result. This introspective practice isn't just about self-improvement in a conventional sense. It's about cultivating a deep understanding of our thoughts, behaviors, and the motives behind them, aiming to align our actions with the virtues of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Stoicism teaches us to turn inward and examine our responses to the world. This self-examination is a critical tool for personal growth, as it allows us to identify areas where our perceptions or actions may not align with our ethical standards or desired outcomes. It involves asking ourselves challenging questions. Why did I react that way? What can this emotion teach me? How can I respond better in the future? This level of inquiry helps us not only understand ourselves better, but also facilitates greater control over our reactions and emotions. Furthermore, the Stoic practice of self-reflection includes a technique known as the evening review, where the day's events are replayed in the mind, not to dwell on them, but to evaluate and learn from them. This practice encourages a kind of daily mental cleanup, ensuring that we remain vigilant and conscious of our progress toward our personal goals. It helps cement the day's lessons and prepares us to face tomorrow with a clearer, more focused mind. In terms of personal growth, Stoicism promotes the idea that we should strive to be better than we were yesterday, rather than better than someone else. This philosophy teaches that comparison with others is a distraction and often a source of dissatisfaction. Instead, by focusing on our own path and progress, this inward focus fosters not only self-improvement but also self-acceptance, acknowledging that while perfection is unattainable, continuous improvement is both achievable and deeply fulfilling. Additionally, Stoicism doesn't shy away from the discomfort that often accompanies growth. It acknowledges that real growth can be challenging and uncomfortable, as it requires us to confront truths about ourselves that we may prefer to ignore. However, it also reassures us that this discomfort is a natural part of developing virtue and character. Each challenge and every discomfort is an opportunity to practice Stoic virtues, strengthen our resolve, and enhance our capacity for compassion and understanding. Personal growth and self-reflection in a Stoic context mean living consciously, deliberately, and ethically. They involve a continuous dialogue between our inner selves and the external world, allowing us to navigate life not as passive recipients of our circumstances but as active ethical participants, shaping our lives with intention and integrity. Every hardship presents an opportunity to practice virtues like patience, endurance, and resilience. For instance, when we face a personal setback, We are given a chance to practice perseverance. When we encounter injustice, we have an opportunity to cultivate fortitude and advocate for fairness. The Stoics saw these moments as exercises, much like a runner uses hills to build strength. It's not about seeking out adversity, but when it inevitably appears, it's about responding in a way that aligns with our principles and enhances our character. Furthermore, Stoicism doesn't advocate for a passive acceptance of all adversity. Instead, it promotes an active engagement with life's challenges. This involves asking ourselves how we can use an adverse situation to our advantage or to the benefit of others. Can a tough situation teach us something valuable about ourselves? Can we find a way to turn a personal struggle into a source of inspiration for others? By actively seeking the value in adversity, we transform our struggles into lessons and our trials into triumphs. Self-reflection plays a critical role in this process. Stoics regularly engage in practices such as meditation and journaling to reflect on their experiences, including their encounters with adversity. This isn't about ruminating over what went wrong, but about extracting actionable insights that can lead to personal improvement and better outcomes in the future. This reflective process helps internalize the lessons learned from adversity, ensuring that each challenge faced contributes to a deeper understanding and a more resilient self. Moreover, utilizing adversity involves embracing a certain level of detachment from external conditions. Stoics strive to maintain inner tranquility regardless of external circumstances by focusing on what they can control, their responses and their attitudes. This detachment doesn't mean not caring about outcomes. Rather, it's about not being emotionally overwhelmed by them. It allows us to face life's ups and downs with equanimity and act according to our values regardless of the situation. Utilizing adversity in a Stoic sense means transforming every challenge into a stepping stone toward greater wisdom and a more virtuous life. It encourages us to not only survive our struggles, but to use them as fuel for our philosophical journey, enhancing our ability to live a fulfilling and impactful life. In doing so, we not only better ourselves, but also potentially provide a beacon of hope and strength for others facing their own adversities. Leadership and influence are not about wielding power over others, but about leading by example and inspiring those around you with your virtue and integrity. Stoicism teaches that true leaders are those who govern their own lives with wisdom and justice, and whose actions encourage others to do the same. This approach to leadership emphasizes personal character and ethical behavior as the foundation of genuine influence. In Stoic thought, leadership starts with self-mastery. Before one can effectively lead others, one must be in command of oneself. This means practicing self-discipline, managing one's emotions, and making decisions that reflect a commitment to the common good rather than personal gain. It involves cultivating virtues like courage, temperance, prudence, and justice. A Stoic leader models these virtues, demonstrating through their own behavior how to live a good life. Their influence, therefore, is not enforced through authority, but naturally radiates out, compelling others by the example they set. Moreover, Stoicism holds that effective leadership is about contributing to the well-being of others and the community as a whole. It's about service rather than status. This perspective encourages leaders to focus on how they can help others grow and succeed, fostering an environment where the team or community can thrive. By prioritizing the needs and welfare of others, Stoic leaders build trust and loyalty, which are essential for any influential. Communication also plays a critical role in Stoic leadership. A Stoic leader communicates clearly, honestly, and with the intent to enlighten and improve the situations they are involved in. They listen attentively, seek to understand different perspectives, and respond thoughtfully. This open and respectful communication style not only helps in resolving conflicts and finding common ground, but also strengthens the leader's influence by establishing them as fair and reliable. Another important aspect of leadership in Stoicism is adaptability, the ability to remain steady in the face of change and uncertainty. Stoic leaders recognize that they cannot control all external events, but they can always control their responses. This resilience enables them to guide others through crises and challenges with calmness and clarity. providing a stable anchor for their team or community. Stoic leadership involves lifelong learning and reflection. Stoic leaders are committed to their own personal growth and are continually seeking knowledge and wisdom that can enhance their leadership skills and ethical understanding. They are reflective about their actions and open to feedback, always looking for ways to improve and better serve their community. This is an essential part of Stoic practice, allowing you to pause, assess, and recalibrate your path according to the principles and values you hold dear. It's about looking back, not just to reminisce or regret, but to understand and learn. This introspective process is crucial because it helps you appreciate the distance you've traveled, acknowledge the lessons learned, and use that knowledge to shape a more purposeful future. Stoicism teaches us to view life as a series of opportunities for growth. Every experience, whether deemed successful or fraught with challenges, carries with it valuable lessons. By reflecting on these experiences, we engage in a thoughtful analysis of our actions and decisions, discerning whether they align with the Stoic virtues of wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. This isn't about judging ourselves harshly, but about approaching our past with a compassionate and constructive mindset that is keen on continuous improvement. In this reflection, consider the times when you faced adversity. How did you respond? Did you react with frustration and anger, or did you find a way to remain composed and make reasoned decisions? Each instance provides insight into your character and resilience, offering clues on areas where you might strengthen your Stoic practice. Similarly, reflect on your moments of joy and success. These too can teach you about who you are and what matters most to you, reinforcing your commitment to those values. Furthermore, reflecting on your journey involves acknowledging the transient nature of life, a key Stoic concept. Everything, our successes, failures, joys, and sorrows, is temporary and must be appreciated in the moment, yet held loosely as we move forward. This awareness fosters a deep sense of gratitude for the present and a readiness to face the future, no matter what it may bring, with open arms and a willing heart. Finally, sharing your reflections can be incredibly powerful, not just for your own growth, but also as a way to influence and inspire others. By discussing your journey, you contribute to a broader dialogue about how to live a good life, encouraging others to reflect on their own paths and perhaps discover the Stoic way for themselves. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. In a world that constantly tries to dictate how we should feel, think, and act, imagine possessing the power to find inner peace and happiness, regardless of the circumstances swirling around you. That's not just powerful, it's revolutionary. It's about taking control, not of the world, but of something far more important and absolutely within our reach, our own minds. Stoicism teaches us resilience, gratitude, and the art of living a fulfilled life. But this isn't just a history lesson, it's about you, your life today. It's about facing the chaos of our modern world without losing your cool. It's about finding calm in the storm and happiness in the simplest of things. It's about transforming your mornings from something you dread into a powerful launchpad for a day filled with purpose and joy. So, if you've ever felt overwhelmed by the noise of life, if you've ever struggled to find a moment's peace, or if you're just curious about how ancient wisdom can be your secret weapon in the 21st century, stick around. This might just be the video that changes everything for you. Let's dive into the Stoic strategies that can help us craft not just a morning routine, but a life filled with intention, resilience, and true happiness. I implore you to give your full attention to this video from start to finish. If you've made it here, you're not like everyone else. You're a standout, someone who seeks depth and wisdom. Your dedication to absorbing this content in full sets you apart even further. This might sound like a fancy term, but it's actually a beautifully simple concept that comes from Japan. It's about discovering that sweet spot where your passions, skills, societal needs, and what you can be paid for all intersect. It's your unique reason for being. Imagine waking up each morning fueled by a clear purpose that excites you, something that makes the thought of hitting snooze irrelevant. Marcus Aurelius wasn't just about enduring life's hardships with a stiff upper lip. He was deeply invested in the idea that we're all here to play our part, to contribute something meaningful. He urged us to approach each day as an opportunity to fulfill our role with integrity and passion. Now, think about that in the context of Ikigai. It's not just about finding what you love. It's about aligning it with what the world needs and what you're good at. That's where the magic happens. But how do you start uncovering your Ikigai? It begins with some introspection. Ask yourself, what am I passionate about? What am I good at? What does the world need from me? What can I get paid for? It's okay if the answers don't come to you right away. This is about the journey, exploring different facets of your life and interests and seeing where they converge. This quest for your Ikigai isn't just some fluffy, feel-good exercise. It's about setting the foundation for a life that's rich in meaning and satisfaction. When you align your daily actions with your deeper purpose, even mundane tasks gain significance. Your relationships start to flourish because you're more present and engaged. Your creativity soars because you're aligned with your true passions. And overall happiness? Well, it becomes more of a constant companion than a fleeting visitor. So, as you think about setting your alarm for tomorrow morning, consider what Ikigai means for you. What could be so compelling that you leap out of bed, eager to start the day? Remember, this isn't about overnight transformation. It's a process, a gentle unfolding. And as Marcus Aurelius would remind us, it's about doing the work, day by day, with dedication and honor. Finding your Ikigai isn't just about personal fulfillment. It's about embracing your role in the larger tapestry of life, contributing your unique thread to the ever-evolving human story. The ancient Stoics, particularly Marcus Aurelius, were big on the idea that our actions should be purposeful, not just random acts thrown into the wind, but deliberate steps guided by our inner compass. This philosophy extends beautifully into how we prepare for the day ahead, starting the night before. Here's the deal. The quality of your morning begins with how you spend your evening. It's tempting to binge watch your favorite series until the wee hours or scroll through social media until your eyes blur. But let's pause and consider how that sets you up for the next day. Your brain needs time to unwind, to process the day's events, and to recharge for what's ahead. That's where a solid pre-sleep routine comes into play. Imagine treating your evening routine with the same respect and intention as you would any other important aspect of your life. This isn't about rigid self-discipline that sucks the joy out of your evenings. It's about creating a space that supports your well-being and aligns with your goals for the next day. For instance, limiting screen time an hour before bed isn't about denying yourself relaxation. It's about giving your mind the cue that it's time to wind down, making it easier to fall asleep and wake up feeling refreshed. Planning a bit for the next day can also be a game changer. It could be as simple as jotting down your top 3 priorities for tomorrow. This act alone sets a clear direction, ensuring you wake up with a sense of purpose. And here's where the Stoic mindset really shines. It's about acknowledging what's within our control and letting go of what's not. We might not be able to control every detail of our day, but we can certainly influence how we start it. And let's not forget about some deep breathing or meditation to calm the mind. This practice isn't just fluff. It's a powerful tool that signals to your body that it's time to rest. Inhaling deeply and exhaling slowly helps reduce stress, lower your heart rate, and prepare your body for deep, restorative sleep. It's like pressing the reset button, ensuring you wake up not just physically refreshed, but mentally and emotionally as well. In today's always-on world, this might sound like a Herculean task, but it's absolutely vital for setting the tone of your entire day. Picture this. The first moments of your morning, untainted by the digital clamor of emails, social media notifications, or the buzzing news cycle. It's just you, your thoughts, and the serene quiet of the dawn. That's not just refreshing, it's empowering. Marcus Aurelius was a strong advocate for living with intention and focus. He wasn't distracted by the notifications of ancient Rome, and believe me, he had his share of distractions. Instead, He emphasized the importance of concentrating on the present moment and the task at hand. He knew something that's even more relevant today. The quality of your attention determines the quality of your life. So, how do we apply this ancient wisdom in the modern age? First, it's about creating a morning space that's intentionally free from digital distractions. This isn't about shunning technology, but rather choosing not to let it dictate the start of your day. It's tempting to roll over and immediately check your phone, but that instantly puts you in a reactive state, responding to the demands and dramas of the external world. Instead, give yourself the gift of a peaceful start. Imagine dedicating the first hour of your day to activities that nourish your soul and sharpen your mind. Maybe it's reading, meditating, journaling, or simply enjoying a cup of coffee as you gaze out the window. This isn't wasted time, it's an investment in your well-being. By avoiding distractions, you're not just avoiding stress, you're actively creating a reservoir of peace and focus that you'll draw from throughout the day. Making the most of your mornings isn't about adding more to your to-do list. It's about subtracting the noise that doesn't serve you. It's about prioritizing what truly matters before the day's demands start pulling at your attention. This is where the Stoic practice of focusing on what's within your control comes into play. You might not be able to control the flood of emails waiting for you, but you can control how and when you choose to engage with them. So tomorrow, challenge yourself to start the day on your terms. Resist the urge to dive into the digital world first thing. Instead, anchor yourself in the present moment, savoring the peace and potential that the morning holds. Remember, every day is a new opportunity to live more intentionally, more serenely, and more in line with who you aspire to be. Let's make our mornings a testament to that ambition, guided by the timeless wisdom of Stoicism and an unwavering focus on what truly matters. Stoicism, at its core, is about understanding what is within our control and acting with virtue and intention in those areas. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, these guys weren't just talking about enduring life's hardships with a stiff upper lip. They were advocating for a proactive engagement with life, taking charge of our actions and our mindset. Waking up consistently is a practice that embodies this philosophy. It's a declaration that we are in control of how we start our day, that we are not at the mercy of whims or external pressures. Building a life, as Stoicism suggests, step by step, with contentment in each action, is a powerful concept. It reminds us that big changes start with small, consistent actions. Waking up at the same time each morning might seem like a small thing, but it's a cornerstone habit that sets the stage for everything else. It's about creating a stable foundation for your day, where you're not rushing from the moment you open your eyes, but rather starting with a sense of control and purpose. But here's the thing, consistency is challenging. It's supposed to be. The early days of trying to wake up at the same time each morning can feel like an uphill battle. Your bed feels more comfortable than ever, and the temptation to hit snooze just one more time can feel irresistible. This is where the Stoic practice of perseverance comes in. It's about reminding yourself why you're doing this, about the person you're becoming through this discipline. It's about seeing beyond the immediate comfort and focusing on the long-term benefits this habit will bring into your life. Becoming a morning person, then, is not just about the mornings themselves. It's about embodying the qualities that make you resilient, focused, and intentional throughout your day. It's a practice in self-mastery, in aligning your actions with your values, and in cultivating the kind of life you want to live, one morning at a time. So how do we make consistency our ally? Start by setting a clear intention the night before. Remind yourself why waking up at a specific time is important to you. Is it to have more quiet time in the morning for reading or meditation? Is it to exercise, or simply to start your day in a more relaxed and controlled manner? Then create an environment that supports this habit. Maybe it's going to bed a bit earlier to ensure you get enough sleep, or keeping your curtains slightly open to let the natural light wake you up gently. And when it gets tough, remember the Stoic belief in the power of our own will, and the importance of acting according to our principles. Each morning that you wake up at your chosen time, you're not just starting your day, you're reinforcing a commitment to yourself, to your growth, and to living a life of intention and purpose. Amidst all this talk of discipline, consistency, and waking up with the sun, it's paramount to remember one thing: we're human. And being human means we're beautifully complex creatures with brains that often prefer the path of least resistance, the instant gratification route. This is precisely why embarking on new habits like transforming our mornings can initially feel like an uphill battle. Yet, there's something incredibly freeing in acknowledging this fact. It's not a flaw, it's just part of the human experience. Now, let's channel some Stoicism into this concept. Stoicism teaches us the importance of self-compassion and understanding alongside its calls for discipline and resilience. Marcus Aurelius, in his personal writings, often reminded himself to be patient and forgiving with his own shortcomings. He knew that berating oneself for every slip-up was not the path to growth. Instead, he advocated for recognizing our errors, learning from them, and then letting them go. This approach is crucial when we're trying to cultivate new morning routines, or any habit, for that matter. Those first few days, or even weeks, can be tough. Your alarm goes off and every fiber of your being wants to stay cocooned in the warmth of your bed. And let's be honest, there will be days when you'll give in to that desire. That's okay. The key is what you do next. Do you beat yourself up, spiraling into a cycle of guilt and self-criticism? Or do you take a breath, forgive yourself, and see the next morning as a fresh opportunity to try again? Forgiveness and patience with ourselves are not signs of weakness. They're indicators of strength and wisdom. They mean we're in it for the long haul, ready to navigate the ups and downs with grace. This stoic practice of self-compassion is about understanding our nature, working with it, and gently nudging ourselves toward the habits and life we aspire to. Moreover, taking it easy isn't about making excuses or allowing ourselves to perpetually fall short of our goals. It's about recognizing that growth is a process filled with learning curves and setbacks. It's about understanding that each new day brings with it a new set of challenges and opportunities. And it's in this daily renewal that we find our strength and resilience. So, as you work on embracing those early mornings, or any new habit, remember to take it easy on yourself. Celebrate the small victories, learn from the setbacks, and approach each day with a heart ready to try again. This isn't just about becoming a morning person. It's about cultivating a mindset that's prepared to face life's challenges with a blend of determination and kindness. Consider the simple act of placing your alarm clock across the room. It's not just about making it physically harder to snooze. It's a statement. It's a commitment to start the day on your terms, to rise despite the comfort of the bed's embrace. It's a small act of defense against the inertia of sleep and comfort, a step toward embracing the day with intention. Similarly, making your bed each morning might feel like a trivial task, especially when you're the only one who'll see it. Yet it's so much more than smoothing sheets and fluffing pillows. It's an exercise in care, in telling yourself that your environment and how you engage with it matters. It's about creating a space that reflects the order and respect you're cultivating within yourself. These small victories, as Marcus Aurelius would likely argue, are the building blocks of a disciplined life. They're the everyday choices that, while easy to overlook, cumulatively mold our character. Each time you choose to do these little things, you're casting a vote for the type of person you want to be. You're choosing to be someone who values discipline, order, and respect for oneself and one's environment. But why focus on these small acts? Because they're within everyone's reach. Not all of us can control the major events in our lives, the upheavals, the unexpected turns, but we can control how we respond to the start of each day, how we treat our immediate surroundings, and how we prime ourselves for whatever lies ahead. This is Stoicism in action, focusing on what's in our power to control and letting go of what isn't. Moreover, these practices aren't just about building discipline for discipline's sake. They're about cultivating a mindset that's prepared for life's bigger challenges. If you can commit to these small acts of discipline, you're training yourself to uphold your commitments in more significant areas. You're sharpening your ability to follow through, to remain steady in the face of adversity, and to approach life with a calm, collected demeanor. qualities that define the Stoic ideal. So, as you consider the role of discipline in your life, start small. Look for those everyday opportunities to practice self-control and order. Remember, it's in these moments, in the quiet of the morning, when you decide to rise and face the day with intention, that your character is forged. These practices are not just chores or tasks. They're rituals, imbuing your day with purpose and your life with a sense of direction and meaning. The idea here is simple yet profoundly impactful. Sharing your goals with someone who not only supports you, but also holds you accountable, can significantly amplify your chances of success. It transforms a personal journey into a shared adventure, making the path to fulfilling your morning routine and ultimately your life's purpose less daunting and more enjoyable. Think of your accountability partner as your ally in the pursuit of self-improvement. This person is there to remind you of your commitments when the warmth of your bed feels too comforting to leave in the early hours. They're there to encourage you when progress seems slow and to celebrate your victories no matter how small. This relationship is a two-way street. It's about mutual support and encouragement, grounded in the understanding that we're all striving to be the best versions of ourselves. The Stoics, including Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, often emphasize the importance of community and relationships in the development of character and virtue. They believed in the power of wisdom shared, in learning from one another, and in the strength that comes from knowing you're not alone in your struggles. Finding an accountability partner in today's world is a nod to this timeless wisdom, recognizing that while the journey towards self-discipline and purpose is personal, it need not be solitary. Moreover, an accountability partner can help you see blind spots in your routine or approach that you might miss on your own. They can offer new perspectives and insights that can catalyze your growth in unexpected ways. This partnership is about more than just checking in to see if you woke up on time or followed through on your morning meditation. It's about engaging in meaningful dialogue about what's working, what isn't, and how you can both support each other in making adjustments. So, how do you find this accountability partner? Look for someone who shares your commitment to growth and self-improvement. This could be a friend, a family member, or even a colleague. The key is to choose someone you trust. Someone with whom you can be open and honest about your goals, struggles, and successes. Once you've found that person, be clear about what you're hoping to achieve and what kind of support you need. Set regular check-ins and be there for each other, offering encouragement, advice, and, when necessary, a gentle nudge back on track. Remember, finding an accountability partner is about more than just external motivation. It's about building a relationship that inspires and uplifts both of you. It's about creating a shared space where honesty, vulnerability, and mutual support are valued and nurtured. In this space, your morning routines and broader life goals become intertwined in a collective effort toward living a more intentional, disciplined, and fulfilling life. The Stoic practice of reflecting on mortality is a call to action, a prompt to live our lives with purpose and intention. It encourages us not to squander our time on trivialities, but to concentrate on creating a meaningful legacy. Every morning when we wake up, we're presented with a fresh opportunity to engage with life in a meaningful way, to contribute positively to the world around us, and to pursue personal growth and fulfillment. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, often wrote about the fleeting nature of life, emphasizing the importance of living virtuously and making the most of the time we have. This wasn't meant to be somber. Rather, it was a liberating realization that freed him from petty concerns and allowed him to focus on his duties as emperor and as a human being striving for virtue. The idea is that by keeping the end in mind, we're more likely to live our lives with purpose and clarity, prioritizing the things and relationships that truly matter. Remembering death in the context of our morning routines transforms how we approach each day. It's not just another day, it's a day that we've been gifted, one that's not guaranteed to anyone. This realization can profoundly impact how we choose to spend our time, the activities we engage in, the relationships we nurture, and the legacy we strive to build. It's a reminder to live fully, to love deeply, and to leave the world a little better than we found it. Moreover, this Stoic practice helps us maintain perspective in the face of life's inevitable challenges and setbacks. When we remember that our time is limited, the daily annoyances and obstacles lose much of their power over us. We become more resilient, more focused on our long-term goals, and less likely to be derailed by temporary difficulties. It's a practice that fosters gratitude for the present moment and inspires us to make the most of it. So, how can we incorporate this Stoic principle into our daily lives? It begins with a moment of reflection each morning. Consider the day ahead as a blank canvas, an opportunity to contribute positively to your life story and to those around you. Ask yourself, if this were my last day, would I be proud of how I'm choosing to spend it? This doesn't mean living in a constant state of existential crisis, but rather cultivating a deep appreciation for the now, for the opportunity to live, learn, and love. In embracing the Stoic practice of remembering death, we're not focusing on the end, but on the present and how we choose to live each day. It's a powerful antidote to complacency and a reminder to live our lives with intention, purpose, and gratitude. So let's greet each morning with the awareness that it is a gift, an opportunity to craft a life that's rich in meaning and aligned with our deepest values. This is the essence of living stoically, making the most of our finite time in this world to create a legacy that endures. We're often told to focus on the positive, to visualize success and happiness in order to attract them into our lives. However, the Stoics, in their profound wisdom, offer a different perspective, one that's not only practical, but incredibly empowering. Negative visualization isn't about pessimism. Rather, it's a tool for resilience, preparation, and ultimately, greater appreciation of the present. The essence of this practice is to periodically imagine the challenges, losses, or difficulties you might face in life. This could range from minor inconveniences, like a missed bus or a rainy day, to more significant hardships, such as the loss of a job or a loved one. The purpose isn't to dwell on these scenarios in a way that breeds fear or anxiety, but to mentally rehearse how you would cope with such situations should they arise. This process of visualization prepares you emotionally and mentally, making you less susceptible to being thrown off course by life's inevitable ups and downs. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus all believed that by contemplating the temporary nature of everything outside our control, we could cultivate a deeper sense of peace and resilience. This practice encourages us to focus on what we can control, our responses, our attitudes, and our actions. Incorporating negative visualization into your morning routine can transform how you approach your day. Instead of stepping out the door, blind to the potential challenges ahead, you're mentally equipped to face them. It's like a mental training session where you strengthen your resilience muscles, so when life inevitably throws a curveball your way, you're not knocked off your feet. You've already rehearsed this moment in your mind and can draw upon your pre-visualized strategies to navigate through it. Moreover, this practice has a beautiful, somewhat paradoxical effect. It enhances our gratitude for the present moment. By imagining life without some of the things we take for granted, we come back to reality with a renewed appreciation for them. It's a reminder of how much we have to be thankful for right now, in this moment. This isn't about dwelling in fear of loss, but about using the thought of it to deepen our appreciation for the here and now. So how do we practice negative visualization in a healthy, constructive way? Start with a few moments in the morning to contemplate potential challenges of the day, or broader future possibilities. Visualize how you would ideally respond, what strengths you would draw upon, what lessons you could learn, and how you could grow from the experience. Then, let go of the visualization and proceed with your day, carrying with you a sense of preparedness and an enhanced appreciation for your current circumstances. Incorporating gratitude into our lives, especially as we end our day, can have a transformative impact on our well-being and outlook. Keeping a gratitude journal is a beautifully simple yet profoundly effective way to cultivate this sense of appreciation. It's about taking a few moments before we sleep to reflect on the day and jot down a few things we're grateful for. This could be anything, from a kind gesture from a stranger, a beautiful sunset, the completion of a challenging task. or simply the comfort of our bed waiting to embrace us at the end of a long day. The act of writing down what we're grateful for shifts our focus from what's lacking in our lives to the abundance that's already present. It's a practice that aligns perfectly with Stoic teachings, which emphasize focusing on what we have rather than what we don't, on what's within our control rather than what isn't. This shift in perspective not only sets the stage for a peaceful night's sleep free from the turmoil of unfulfilled desires or lingering frustrations, but it also primes our minds to begin the next day with a sense of purpose and appreciation. But why end the day with gratitude? Because it allows us to close our day on a note of positivity, regardless of the challenges we may have faced. It's a way of reaffirming the good in our lives, of finding peace even in turmoil, and of nurturing a mindset that sees opportunities for growth and joy in every circumstance. This nightly practice of gratitude creates a ripple effect, influencing not just how we sleep, but how we wake up and approach our mornings. It transforms our first thoughts of the day from groans over the alarm clock to a quiet anticipation of what the new day holds, what new things we might discover to be grateful for. Moreover, this practice of appreciating our life extends beyond our personal sphere. It enhances our relationships as we become more attuned to the value of those around us and more expressive of our appreciation for their presence in our lives. It deepens our connection to the world as we become more observant of and thankful for the beauty and wonder that surround us, often in the most mundane moments. So, as we consider the multitude of strategies to enrich our mornings and, by extension, our lives, let's not overlook the power of ending our day with gratitude. It's a practice that embodies the Stoic pursuit of a good life, one marked not by external achievements or material possessions, but by inner peace, contentment, and a deep-seated appreciation for the present moment. As we wrap up this journey through the 10 strategies inspired by Stoicism, it's clear that each step, each practice is more than just a task. It's a pathway to cultivating a life of intention, resilience, and profound gratitude. Embracing these practices doesn't mean every day will be perfect, but it does mean that every day will be met with a stronger, more grateful, and more resilient you. You have within you the power to transform not just your mornings, but your entire life into a reflection of the Stoic ideals of virtue, wisdom, and contentment.